This may be the most outrageous game I've ever played. It's cute and it's weird, and then out of nowhere it's a horror show of murderous evil, but also it's hilarious. I've got to investigate a mysterious disappearance, capture and battle countless Bugsnax, and save the misfits of this island from the most sinister of enemies. And I've got to get all 30 of the game's achievements. I played 100% of Bugsnax. It begins upon my flying ship in the rain. I'd arrived at a mysterious island when, out of nowhere... What was that noise? A flying flatbread of some description just knocked me off my blimp, my flying boat. What is this? Looks like a straub. I spied a creepy crawly, and I greeted this handsome fellow who was taking a break from mining. This bloke's had a rough day. More strange creatures fled as I crouched my way through this passage. What are those little critters? Whoa! The seismic activity continued as I jumped across the gap in this dilapidated bridge, and I found myself in this pleasant glade. It's a pizza. A flappy pizza. Oh, that's gotta be a bonk on the noggin. 2 weeks earlier. 2 weeks earlier, the explorer Lizbert sent me a video revealing the wonders of Snacktooth Island.
Bugsnax.
Bugsnax.
They're the most delicious thing in the world. You haven't lived until you've tried one. It's true. Half bug, half snack. There's nothing quite like them. There's one now. I got it.
Nice one, Philbo. Lizbert knew of my journalistic prowess, and she invited me to Snacktooth Island to document the discoveries there. But first I had to convince my boss, Clumby Cucumber Butt, and she was unimpressed with my recent work.
And now you're gonna follow Elizabeth to some grump-forsaken island? Elizabeth Megafig is either a con artist or a lunatic!
I'm going.
This is absurd. Only a desperate loser would follow Lizbert.
That's me. Even the old girl Crumby Crunchy Nut had to admit that if the tales of Bugsnax were true, it would make for a juicy story. So she begrudgingly sent me on my way.
Now get going and try not to fall off a cliff or something.
Back in the present day, I fell off a cliff or something. Oh! I stepped forth into a brand new adventure. Having a cheeky snooze at the bottom of the waterfall. Oh, it's Philbo, my guy. Philbo was starving and losing his mind as a result. He gave me the snack scope, with which I can scan Bugsnax to learn more about them. Okay, F's to open the snack scope. Scan. Strabby, a very simple snack. Watch its walking pattern. I scanned the delirious Philbo too. Self-appointed mayor. He's trying his best. True. Next, he gave me a snack trap, but when I approached the Strabby, it hid in a bush. So Philbo and I lurked behind a rock for a bit until the Strabby emerged, and I triggered the trap to catch my first ever Bugsnax. I immediately fed it to Philbo. In you gob. What? It gave you a strawberry fist? What? Strawberry arm.
Oh, this? Pretty neat, huh? It's a side effect of eating Bugsnax.
That doesn't seem like a very healthy side effect to me, but fair enough. Our illustrious mayor wanted 3 more Bugsnax to eat, so off I went. A green lolive. I spotted another Strabby, so I placed a trap to try and catch it. Whoa, what the heck? Hey! You stole my trap. Thankfully, you can hit retrieve to break the deployed trap, and shortly after, it returns to you ready for use. So I was soon trapping the Strabby's hiding bush up and catching my second Bugsnax. Oh, here we go. What's this? It's a rootle. I tried to catch the rootle, but there was another cheeky lolive. Come on, bro. Once the lolive flew off, I had success. Rootle. It's like Pokemon, they say their own name. I found a cave behind the waterfall, which led me up here where I caught another Strabby, and I admired this lolive for a bit. I fed Philbo, and I was particularly pleased with his carrot foot. He's got a peg leg. It's outrageous. Now adequately fed, Mayor Philbo promised to take me to town, but he had to admit,
I'm supposed to take you home, but
you're lost, aren't you, Philbo?
Lizbert might not be there.
With that troubling news, we entered Garden Grove and met Farmer Wambus.
I got my paws full with my ketchup crop. Without Lizbert around to catch Bugsnax, I gotta keep us all fed.
Philbo suggested that ketchup was not adequate for a balanced diet, and Wambus was outraged.
Now kindly leave and take a ketchup for the road. Bunker, bunker, bunker. Whoa! Darn, Bunker! Get out of here!
Wambus gave me a slingshot and asked me to lure the rampaging bunga into the pen, so I yoinked some of his ketchup, loaded it into the slingshot, and used it to successfully lure the bunga. Bunga, 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 bunga. I scanned the trapped burger bug, and on the right there you can see it loves ketchup and cheese, which is why the ketchup worked a treat to lure it. Most Bugsnax love or hate particular sauces, which comes in handy to lure or enrage them. I spotted a shishka bug, and then I figured I should try to catch the bunga, but it proved too beefy to fit in the trap. Fortunately, Philbo managed to survive the bunga charge.
I'm just happy you're getting along with Wambus. He's having a hard time, and his wife isn't around much these days.
Wambus admitted he was in over his head with all the Bugsnax disrupting his farming efforts, so I agreed to help him. A shishka bug hid in this bush and refused to come out, so I shot some ketchup at it, and this bunga charged it, scaring the shishka bug straight into my trap. How do I catch you, you big idiot? Oh! I spotted a Friday on the roof of this cave, and a scan revealed it was also a fan of ketchup. Come here, you sucker. Lured by ketchup. The wall art in this cave appeared to depict grumpuses, which is what I am by the way, fighting against big boy Bugsnax. Intriguing. I fed Wambus the Friday to complete his first quest, and he next wanted 2 shishka bugs. So I recreated the bunga bush bash situation to catch another. Bunga, 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 bunga. I fed Wambus the double shishka, and the next order of business was to catch a bunga.
They're too wily for your trap, but if you can get them all woozy and vulnerable, you can scoop them right up with this net.
Do I have to lure 2 bungas onto each other? That is exactly it. After a little experimentation, I managed to get the bungas charging right at each other. Double bunga. I fed the farmer his tasty treat.
Justice is served. Well, I'm fixing to get my old garden growing again.
Oh, you really mean it? Let's get moving right away.
Wambus had originally been unwilling to return to town, but after providing him with a delicious feast, he'd apparently changed his mind.
Like, oh my
Beffica?
god, is this squeeb really talking to me right now?
Hey, don't be rude.
I'm not a squeeb.
You're very rude to my friend Philbo.
OMG. You're that journalist. I haven't seen a new face in like forever.
So Beffica is officially incredibly annoying, but she did at least allow me to grab a spare journal from her cave, which features a Bugapedia to keep track of the Bugsnax I've caught, my bug pack, quests, a map of Snacktooth Island, a clues and leads tab, where I can compile information in the search for Lizbert, and the Grumpapedia with info about the island's residents, of whom I clearly had a few more to meet. I had a squiz at the Bugapedia, noting some Bugsnax only appear at certain times of day. Also, 30,000 calories? Holy dooly. With that, Beffica sent me on my way for now, asking me to return later to help her out, and so I followed Philbo to enjoy this glorious loading screen.
Here we are.
Ooh, Snacksburg.
Ooh-wee. It's a regular old ghost town.
I don't know what I expected. Without Lizbert around, nobody would want to come back here.
Snacksburg was indeed looking a little worse for wear, but at least Wambus had returned to tend to his condiments farm. Philbo apologized about Lizbert's absence, but who needs Lizbert when you've got Big Philbo? I interviewed him to begin learning about Snacktooth Island and the troubling mystery of Lizbert's disappearance. Philbo revealed himself to be a great fan of Lizbert's adventurousness and leadership skills. Lizbert believed in him and made him deputy mayor, but now that she was missing, he had tried to assume proper leadership, but no one really took the poor bloke seriously. I asked him what happened to Lizbert.
One day, Lizbert went out hunting and she didn't come back. There was a big fight, and then an earthquake, and then everybody decided they'd be better off alone.
But Philbo had high hopes for what I might be able to achieve.
You can catch Bugsnax and bring everybody back to Snacksburg.
And so I was tasked with bringing the remaining 11 residents back to Snacksburg. So it looks like we've got to rebuild the town, essentially. First on my list, the gossip Beffica. More Bugsnax had emerged in Garden Grove, and the purple Teletubby asked me to scan 6 different types. I'd already scanned 3 earlier, so I scanned a Sweetie Fly, Weenie Worm, and White Strabby to bring the total up to 6. I obviously want to catch all of these to earn 100%, so I got to catching as well. 1 White Strabby using the Bush Lurk strategy, 1 silly hot dog that I simply walked up to and bamboozled right into the trap, and then I was inspired to see if there were any new varieties of Bugsnax back in Flavor Falls. There were indeed. Oh yeah, some white Roodles. Oh my gosh. That's a big boy. That's a big boy. I snagged a white Rootle. How do I catch this big fella? I spotted some pretzels just chilling. I was able to net the twisty snack pod by simply walking up to it. I'm getting snacks galore, man. I found some ranch dressing, a pinkle in a jar that I was unable to get through, and an underground menace up past the waterfall. In trap. It whacked me in the butt. What the heck? Why does it get so angry? Over the little bridge, a cave that was previously blocked had opened up, but inside was an impenetrable door. Most curious. Back downstairs, another cave, full of many silly willies. Caramel goop from these bouncy popcorns, a terrified pinkle, and another rambunctious in-trap. Whoa. Whoa. Oh, that was an intro. So that was a freebie, though my bag was full, so I had to make room. I also caught a caramel pop tick. As I emerged from the cave, I noticed the pinkle out here had somehow lost its jar. I have no idea how that happened, but I sniffed opportunity. When my friend the giant sandwich returned, I shot some ranch on Pinkle's face, and he copped a sub slap that made him vulnerable to my net. Nice. And just like that, I'd caught 7 out of 13 Bugsnax in this area. But I figured I needed some more advanced gadgets to catch the lolive and the sub centipede, so I vowed to return for them later. Back in Garden Grove, I was determined to catch a sweetie fly. These candy dragonflies rest every so often, which gave me an opportunity to strike. Except the trap kept falling off this rock, so I tried in the tree. Soon the little dingus came for a snooze, and if you snooze, you lose, so I ensnared him. I told Beffica of my success scanning the Grove's bugs, and her next task...
I want you to use that journalistic instinct to find out what my favorite Bugsnax is.
I headed into a cave to investigate. I think maybe it's a hot dog? Weenie worm? I'd already caught one, so I fed it to her immediately and graced her with a glorious weenie arm.
If you really want to be besties with me, I want some dirt.
I very much don't want to be besties with her, but the quest is compulsory. Find out what Wambus does between 10 p.m. and 1 a.m. I don't want to spy on my guy Wambus, I like him. I had a snooze in Beffica's bed until midnight, and headed back to Snacksburg where Filbo was admiring my crashed ship. And I headed down to spy on Wambus.
Oh, Triffy, I miss you so much.
Oh, don't
I
kiss
would
the
hug
cactus,
your
mate.
cactus facsimile, but it would only hurt me further.
I got the dirt on Wambus. He's got a cactus lover.
10 out of 10 perf dirt.
With that perf dirt, Beffica decided Snacksburg sounded way more fun than her random cave, so she returned to town. That is 2 out of 12 residents returned. Meanwhile, I discovered yet more snacks had showed up in Garden Grove. Dr. Sodi. I set up a trap on its path along the creek bed and caught it. I think there's a big fella up in this tree, dude. What is this? What's going on in these trees? It was a weirdo zipping tree to tree. Yeah, I think I'm gonna need... I'm gonna need some kind of new device to catch that one. Got 2 more nerds to interview here. Wambus had this to say about Bugsnax.
They ain't animals, and they ain't plants. No organs, no seeds, nothing. And you have to eat them raw, or they turn to mush. Now, I call that confusing.
He also made it clear he wasn't a big fan of a grumpus named Gramble.
That weepy little rancher thinks all Bugsnax are his pets.
When I asked him about Lisbert, he didn't have much to say, but he did give me this note he'd recently dug up. He thought it might be useful. The door is attached to some ancient mechanisms. It looked like it might take at least 3 grumpuses to activate these. Next, it was time to interview Beffica.
I'm Beffica Winklesnoo, and I basically do whatever I want.
Beffica admitted she was hiding out on Snacktooth Island, since international law doesn't apply here. She told me she hated someone named Cromdo because he was a scammer and a thief, and she said Lisbert's weakness is her partner Eggabell.
Liz would go to the end of the world and back to make her happy. And if I've learned anything in life, it's that you can't let your happiness depend on somebody else.
That's actually quite wise from a town gossip. And she gave me the key to Lisbert's cabinet. I noticed Wambus had a quest for me. He wanted to try and grow Bugsnax, so he asked me to plant a root and a fruit in his garden. Root and a fruit. I feel like I have both of those. Indeed, I immediately planted a white rootle and a white strabby. Boom! Just did the quest in 2 seconds. Now all that was left to do was wait and see if they'd grow. I wasn't hopeful. It's kind of creepy, isn't it? I headed into Lisbert and Eggabell's home and used Beffica's stolen key to open up this cabinet. There's a skull in here? Hello? I found a projector tape, which I placed into the projector.
Surprise! I'm back early. And have I got a story for you?
This was video diary number 2, and it showed Eggabell being depressed.
What's the point if I can't help anybody?
And Lisbert cheering her up by giving her a delicious bug snack to eat. I found video diary 1 as well, which I watched next. Looks like I watched the movies out of order, but it's fine. This one showed Lisbert returning with an injury after a Bugsnax hunting expedition, and a worried Dr. Eggabell patched her up. Here's the toilet.
Ow. Howdy.
Get some!
How you doing? Ouch! How you doing? Ooh. How you doing? Ow.
It was then time to head down to the Simmering Springs, where I was greeted by this goober.
You are the ignoble journalist.
This purple jelly bean roasted me for a bit before providing me with a useful tool.
This is the Snacktivator. Feed me Strabby. Poke Snacktivator in foot. Foot turns into Strabby. Understand?
This does indeed allow me to choose where to place the snacky body parts, so I guess I can custom build grumpuses to my liking. Ooh, chocolate. I began exploring the Simmering Springs, which had quite a vibe and of course a bunch of new Bugsnax to catch. Good golly. If you can't tell, Wiggle is a singer.
If you're looking for Bugsnax, you best turn back. These little ones are my kin.
And Gramble's thing is that he loves and keeps Bugsnax as pets. Obviously, I want to get these grumpuses to return to Snaxburg, so I began helping out Gramble to win his trust.
That there's Sprout. I've been training him to follow my pointer in his buggy ball.
My task was to guide Sprout out of this little obstacle course.
What the heck is going on?
I launched him up in the air before guiding him out, and Gramble's next assignment was to catch his 3 lost peel bugs. I caught a crapple as it emerged straight into the loving arms of my trap, then a long-nosed Queeble kiwi fruit weirdo as it ambled along, then a Snackiri as it dropped down from its hovering silly willies. I spotted an orange fella in this hollow log, so I used Sprout to spook it out of hiding and caught the first of 3 orange peel bugs. Sadly, my bag was once again full, so I had to begin releasing some Bugsnax.
Hurry up, Strabby slave. Go.
I caught orange peel bug number 2, and I used the tried and true bush trap strategy to catch my first Raspy.
How do I get this pineapple out of the ground?
I scared a 3rd orange peel bug from its lair, and for a follow-up quest, Gramble wanted me to bring 2 Queebles to him without trapping them. He suggested the perfect strategy to achieve this.
Got a new strategy. We've got a chocolate strategy.
This involved covering Sprout's ball in chocolate with a well-aimed slingshot, and since these well-endowed proboscis kiwis love chocolate, the rest is simple.
Follow the chocolate ball. Follow the chocolate ball.
I performed this glorious chalk ball lure strategy twice, and once both Queebles were safely back with Gramble, he was quite happy.
I'm so happy I could cry.
Beautiful.
Here goes.
With that, Gramble decided he was ready to return to his ranch back in Snaxburg. But since Sprout and I were getting along swimmingly, he left the ball-encased Strabby with me. I then got to work trying to catch the rest of the snacks in the area.
Come scare. Hey! Excuse me?
Apparently the subterranean pineapples are afraid of crapples, so I was hoping if I lured one over, the pineapple would lose its mind out of fear and end up in my trap somehow. That didn't quite work though, and somehow another rogue crapple came out of nowhere and slapped the first crapple. Crapple on crapple violence always brings me joy, but it wasn't quite what I was after. But my second plan was more fruitful. I simply shot chocolate right on the pineapple's hair, inspiring the crapple to dig it up and yeet it.
Net him. Yeah. Nice.
A Pineantula successfully in the bag. Now that it was night, some grape skeetos had emerged on the beach, and the scanner told me everything I needed to know. They plump up and slow down when they eat another bug snack. I shot some beloved chocolate onto a nearby innocent Raspy, and when the grape skeeto had a big suck, it got rather round and I netted it. Wiggle was still chilling on the beach, so I checked in to see what it would take to get her back to Snaxburg.
Lucky you. You'll get an autograph. Oh, I can see you're utterly
Lucky me.
starstruck.
Wiggle was desperate to find her muse. She was looking for inspiration to write her next hit song. The first thing she wanted to try was a new hairdo, so I fed her a Pineantula. It didn't quite give her the smash hit song she was after though.
La 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 la.
We next tried a grape skeeto, but again, no luck. Next, she wanted 2 pop ticks from a region I was yet to visit, the Scorched Gorge. So that put a pause on her quest line for now. I scared a little bug into a bush over here, and it refused to come out. I waited for ages and tried luring it, but it was determined to stay hidden. So I reset the area by leaving and re-entering.
Is it still hiding? No, it's there. Stays hidden forever. Loves... What the hell is that? Is it chili?
I didn't have any hot sauce, so I resorted to an aerial assault.
Gotcha! I gotcha!
That was the sleuthiest maneuver ever seen. That Tropica bug made 8 out of 12 bug snacks caught in the Simmering Springs, and I wasn't sure about the remaining 4, so I headed back to Snaxburg for now.
Well. Look what the snack dragged in.
Oh, I wouldn't have come back if I knew you were here.
Gramble's ranch was up and running again, and it had a Bugsnax donation campaign. I immediately donated all 5 bugs I had on hand, because I figured why not. Then I spied Gramble out for a wander.
Wake Gramble. He's sleepwalking. What the heck? Let's interview Gramble.
Gramble rambled about how much he loves Bugsnax before coming out with this outrageous story.
Sometimes I wake up at night and I'm out of bed, lost in the woods. I think I see Lizbert out there watching me like a vengeful spirit.
What the heck?
He also gave me a key that Lizbert dropped in his barn way back when. I decided to go catch 1 more Bugsnax for the donation drive. I wanted to see what I'd earn for donating 6 out of 6 Bugsnax.
The size of your heart has grown and so has your inventory space. Keep donating to keep going. I can hold 8 instead of 6 now. Very nice. I need to donate 12 for the next round. Okay. Honestly, that seems really useful, so I might just go on a bit of a rampage catching.
And so I began catching some more Bugsnax, because I did indeed want my bag as big as possible.
Double bunga!
I filled up my bag with 8 snacks from Garden Grove and donated them all immediately.
Good progress. Alright, what do you want?
He wanted to throw a welcome back party for all the grumps that had returned thus far. It was a riot.
Welcome to the party, Whambone.
We are not friends.
Filbo's dancing up a storm, man. It is flammable.
I give this party a 2 out of 10.
Poor Filbo, man. Filbo really does try his best.
Bugsnax will never love you.
You don't know a thing about love. That's why your wife left you.
Oh dear.
To cap off a glorious evening, Filbo insisted I try Bugsnax firsthand. So I ate a strabby, and it didn't go so well.
Are you okay? I guess you're allergic to Bugsnax?
I searched Lizbert's house for her diary, as I wanted to use the key Gramble had given me to unlock it, but there was no diary to be found. I guess I'll find one later. Gramble gave me a quest to donate 6 Bugsnax to his box, and I'd already done that, so that quest was completed immediately, which was convenient.
To the desert. Oh, look at that volcano, man.
A new zone, a new biome to explore, and new Bugsnax. I spied some pop ticks, which I needed for Wiggle's quest, so I tried to catch them, but the fiery scorpion on the wall was not a big fan of my trap. This pop tick kernel caught on fire in the chaos and popped into fullness, a beautiful transformation, but the cantankerous conflagration of a scorpion on the wall there was gonna be a problem.
He destroys my trap.
I managed to get this flamin' popcorn into a trap.
Don't burn.
So that did not work. I moved on and left that conundrum for another day. I spotted a Spuddy and this floppy dingus up on the rock.
Follow me and I'll show you the deal of a lifetime.
When you hear a sentence like that, you know you're definitely dealing with a trustworthy individual. There's no doubt about it.
Hot sauce. Okay, nice.
These Spuddies seemed a little angry for some reason as they charged at me over and over, and I couldn't catch them in a trap as they were too chonky. I lured this ribblepede down with some hot sauce and finally caught my first Bugsnax of the Scorched Gorge. I spied this dodgy cracked wall here and concocted a genius strategy.
Aha. Success.
Inside was some ancient wall art of some grumpuses in a mosh pit with a giant butterfly. I spotted a disturbing hole full of skeletons and a green grump, but I left her alone for now in favor of more exploring.
These are all like a lot harder to catch. I've only been able to catch one of them.
That soon changed when these two potato idiots headbutted each other, making them both vulnerable to my net. I climbed the stairs to this upper area and spied a barbecue bunga patrolling, and I caught up with Cromdo.
Friend, have I got a bridge to sell you? Beautiful, isn't it? All yours for just 100 Bugsnax. What do you say?
I say, who the hell buys a random bridge?
Some assembly required, buy at your own risk, all sales final, offer void where prohibited, shirt and shoes optional, may contain nuts or shellfish, guarantees not guaranteed. I mean, it looks like a pretty good bridge to me though.
Feast your eyes on this beautiful lunch pad. Totally for
nice.
sale and not at all stolen.
Old mate wanted me to use this thing to get his windmills unstuck, so I fiddled around with it for a while before realizing I wasn't supposed to launch myself. I was supposed to launch these rocks. I had his windmills rotating freely in short order.
Now it's time to pay up. What? You used it, you bought it. There's no such thing as a free lunch pad.
He was happy to take 3 cheap hoofs as payment, but night had fallen and the cheap hoofs seemed to have disappeared, so I had a cheeky snooze till morning.
What the heck, man? What the heck was that?
The cheap hoofs were back, flying about, and my first strategy was to launch rocks at them. I'd hoped this would stun them so I could catch them with my net, but no bingo. When I tried launching the trap at it, I thought it was a long shot, but
That's what you actually do?
the next cheesy boy I spotted was near the barbecue bunga, and it kept charging at me, so I decided to launch it.
I got him stuck on the wall, I believe.
I caught 2 more of the cheesy flyers and fed Cromdo, giving him some cheesy arms. His next task was to catch the sweet Frider across the way, which was quite straightforward using the exact same trap launching technique. I fed it to Cromdo, finishing off his left arm in style. And with that, the dodgy salesman decided it was time to move back to Snacksburg, but he needed a way to keep cool moving his shop back across the desert.
If you make both my feet into big bopsicles, then walking the hot sands would be a breeze.
I'll find you some bobsicles, you big dingus.
The barbecue bunga had reappeared, and it was time to catch the buffer. I lured him onto the lunch pad with tomato sauce, and launched him down to hang out with a Spuddy. It went exactly as planned, as the Spuddy did the rest of the work for me. I also randomly got this achievement.
Stun a flying Bugsnax by launching another Bugsnax at it. That's not what I just did.
Oh well, I'll take it, I guess.
I don't know how I'm gonna catch these popcorn idiots.
I tried launching the trap in at the pop tick, and rushing in to grab it before the scorpion shot fire down, and after a couple of failed attempts, I had success.
Too quick for you, you silly scorpion idiot.
And I pulled it off again.
Too quick again, scorpion nerd. Alright, cool, that's the 2 pop ticks I need for the weirdo on the beach.
It turns out the green grump over here was Triffany, Wambus's wife, an archaeologist investigating the ruins. She wasn't keen on returning to Snacksburg until she had a few more samples, so she set me to work collecting 3 ribblepedes. I already had 1, so I caught 2 more using hot sauce as a lure and fed all 3 to Triffany.
Ribtastic, man.
Next, she wanted me to break away into the nearby ruins, which I'd already done done with the help of a spuddy. But before showing her that, I was distracted by a white cheepoof that had appeared, now that it was nighttime, I guess. After catching that, I showed Triffany the murals on the wall.
Looks like there's a hidden chamber somewhere in the canyon.
She asked me to track down said hidden chamber, and I soon did, using the angry spuddy technique once again to gain entry. Inside were a few skeletons and some shy weenie worms, which were an easy catch with choice trap placement on their patrol route. And I soon returned to Triffany with news of my find.
I reckon that's a right thigh. That's a right thigh weenie worm for sure.
I told her the chamber was full of corpses, and she declared she must investigate further so she could not return to town.
Should I say Wambus dressed a cactus to look like you?
Oh, my sweet dear. I guess the big lug really misses me. Well, I miss him too, but I'm still mad.
With the news of her husband's extremely romantic cactus shenanigans, she changed her mind and headed back to Snacksburg.
That's 5 out of 12 back to Snacksburg now.
Man, Triffy, I'm sorry. I've been a dang fool.
Yep.
I just hope the cactus doesn't get jealous.
What's that now?
This science research tent had appeared along with Triffany's return, and Philbo had something to show me.
Ta-da! It's your very own mailbox!
I'll receive requests to do various tasks here, as well as gifts and rewards. To start, Philbo had already mailed me furniture and flowers, which will come in handy for decorating my new home, which lacked walls and a roof, which is somewhat problematic, but I guess it's better than nothing. I planted the dandelion and placed down the shelf.
Literally a weed and the most ramshackle shelf you've ever seen. Can't go wrong.
I received an onslaught of mail, gifts from all the people I'd helped return to town, and a few tasks too. To find a lost item, donate a specific bug snack to Gramble's ranch, to take a photo of a shy weenie worm with ketchup on it, simple tasks that earn decorative rewards for my new house. I played around placing the new items I'd received, and I thought this map of Snacktooth Island was actually pretty cool. I donated 5 more bug snacks to Gramble, unlocking the next bag upgrade, earning myself 12 slots total, and the next donation goal was 18. Next, I headed over to Simmering Springs, where I fed Wiggle the 2 Popticks she wanted, granting her ridiculous popcorn arms. Once again, this did not work to provide Wiggle with musical inspiration. She thought she knew why though.
Oh, not nearly enough.
She did at least head back to town though, so that was great news. This lovely sweetie fly had appeared, which I figured was what Gramble had requested in his letter to me, as he said he wanted a flying love heart snack donated. And after failing to catch it once, I had some success with the lunch pad helping me to snag the little dingus.
Oh, what the hell? I just found a little nerd.
I caught the grumpy snack pod and headed back to town where I donated the lovely sweetie fly, which completed Gramble's task. And when I picked up the reward in the mail, I was bombarded by 3 more donation request letters from Gramble, and for all 3 I'd already donated the requested bugs, so I received a bunch of rewards immediately. The highlight was this sprout rug.
Heck yeah, nice rug, man.
Now that a couple more people had rejoined the town, it was time for some ghost stories around the campfire, apparently.
There's really something stalking me, watching me from the shadows. Keeps me up at night.
I've seen something similar up on top of the canyon. Real curious.
I saw the thing on top of the canyon.
Triffany shared about how the ancient grumpuses had to seal their dead away, otherwise their bodies vanished, as if stolen or eaten by something.
I've seen those chewed up skeletons around the island. We all know something kills grumpuses out there.
Meanwhile, Philbo had gone to the toilet when suddenly...
Probably doing a massive poo.
Oh, hey, buddy. Sorry, I got a little too spooked, and I came here to calm down.
Something is lurking out there, and it's only a matter of time before it comes for us.
Okay, this game is completely unhinged.
Grumpin' Snacks, it's coming for us.
I said she's coming for us, yeah, she's gonna get us, oh.
I went to investigate, and something had blasted its way into the mill.
What's going on in here? It's a big fella.
Chandlo?
A big chonker.
Whoa, it's Philbo!
Chandlo.
And somebody new?
Chandlo had returned to town to collect some stuff for someone named Snorpy, so off he went back to wherever he came from, and the spooky night was at an end. As thanks for that outrageous evening, Philbo sent me a toy in the mail.
Grumpy baby mare. Mayo?
I decided I better interview the newcomers, so I whipped out the tape recorder to have a chat with Wiggle. She revealed what we already know. She's a washed-up singer looking for inspiration with which she hopes to rekindle her career. Wiggle said that on the night Lizbert disappeared, she ran into the woods only to find the queen of the Bugsnax menacing.
Her screech was deafening, and I ran for my life.
She also gave me a map to Liz's last location, somewhere in the Sugar Pine Woods. Wiggle also gave me a side quest. She was still looking for Bugsnax that would give her inspiration, so she asked for a sandopede. I checked in on Wambus's farming efforts, and sadly but predictably, the Bugsnax he planted were yet to grow. He had a plan though, and asked me to bring him a spuddy.
Let's interview Triffany.
Triffany's grandma, Bronica Lotterblog, was an adventurer, so Triffany was trying her best to live up to her grandma's legacy. And in her professional opinion, the most likely answer to the question of Lizbert's disappearance is that she fell in a hole or got wedged in a crevice. So all the grumps certainly had differing perspectives on what had happened to Lizbert. And the whole thing felt more mysterious than ever. She also gave me a locked journal, which I was able to unlock with the key Gramble gave me earlier. Inside was this.
Looks like I need to weigh down the pressure plates in order. First left. Okay, it's half of a code.
Beffica had a side quest for me too. She wanted me to do more spying for her. Her target this time was Wiggle.
6 grumps returned, 6 interviews done. We're about halfway in terms of the big story apparently. 3 side quests here. I don't know how to catch sandopedes.
I headed to Garden Grove, where I noticed I could swipe Beffica's diary. This actually earned me an achievement, which was great news as I of course need all the achievements to get 100% completion.
I found a bag of chips, a crispy snack pod.
I netted the cheeky fella.
That's a good find.
Snack pod.
When browsing the achievements, I'd noticed one to catch 2 Bugsnax at once, so I decided to see if I could pull that off. My target, these 2 Fridays, which I lured with some ketchup.
1, 2, here we go. Boom, we're popping off. Just got 2 achievements in a row, mate.
The reason I came to Garden Grove in the first place was to collect a lost item for Beffica, so I launched myself atop these trees and retrieved her sack before heading to Flavor Falls to see if I could figure out how to catch a centipede. I tried throwing a pickle jar at it and launching it, but had no success. I was at least able to catch my first green lolive using the lunch pad and trap combo. When I returned to town, I found Gramble was having trouble training his kiwi fruit, so I agreed to help out. I had to use a chocolate-covered sprout to lead Chawi the Queeble through the many obstacles of the town. Except the town's grumps were making it difficult for me.
Wiggle, leave him alone, you loser.
I got confused about where I was supposed to go halfway through, but was able to pick up where I left off and noodle past a patrolling Wambus, successfully leading Chawi to the barn.
Charwy! Oh, who's a good boy? Charwy's a good boy, yes he is.
Who's a good boy?
I received a half-heart rug from Beffica for returning her lost item, but I hated it. I donated the 7 Bugsnax that had accumulated from my recent travels, before heading up this bridge that had become accessible next to the mill.
We made it to the Sugar Pine Woods, baby.
I saw a cookie running swift circles, and...
Oh, what? Snack Squatch. Do you see that? I got the scan off. I got an achievement.
With that quick camera work, I'd identified the creepy weirdo. Was it the Snack Squatch dropping monstrous bombs in the toilet the other night? These cookies are supposedly too fast to catch in a trap, but with some chalky sauce as a lure, I managed to snag one. Over here was the last known whereabouts of Lizbert, according to Wiggle's map, where I found another projector tape.
I just found the 4th projector tape. Where's the 3rd?
And around the other side of this cliffside path,
orange sport orbs, designed for hoopability.
I had a shot at the hoop over there, but I think I may have missed. There was a sinner snail over on this rock, which I trapped using the launch pad method, but I had nowhere to go and pick up the trap, so I was bamboozled for the time being.
Nice. Let's see if I didn't get an achievement for that. That was a sick shot, man.
I continued exploring the area, making use of this convenient launch pad and spotting a charmello. As you can see, it was on fire.
Yeah, it's gonna catch on fire. Maybe if I do it over the water.
And so I repeated the maneuver, this time when the charmello was over this icy pond, and I successfully quenched the fire and caught the schnack.
I've played Pokemon, I know water defeats fire. Don't even worry about it.
This sinner snail was theoretically easier to reach than the other one I saw before.
Yoink! No, don't stay up there. What are you staying up there for? How about gravity? Oh, I actually reached up there. Okay, I'll take it. Right, what do we got here? Peanut butter.
I then spied the first frosty Bugsnax I'd encountered. These freeze you if you touch them, so they need to be thawed first.
Oh, it's a big bopsicle.
As I said, I've played Pokemon, so I know a thing or two about how fire defeats ice. And since Charmellos love chalky syrup, it was obvious what had to be done.
Is he gonna blow up? What does that mean? What the heck is he doing? Okay, we got him.
I don't know what the heck was going on there, but that's a big bopsicle in the bag.
Here's Chandlo. What's up, Chandlo?
I'm sorry, Chandlo. I'm not coming outside. I'm this close to finishing my next invention. Lift in your crib, dog!
Bro, Chandlo's swole.
There, I'm out in the fresh air. And I could smell the chemtrails.
That interaction there pretty much sums up the relationship between these two. Chandlo said he wouldn't return to Snacksburg unless Snorpy did, so I chatted to Snorpy, and as you may be able to gather from the Grumpinati stringboard in the background there, he is somewhat of a distrusting individual.
Here, take my newest invention, the Snack Grappler.
He built this gadget to help rescue Chandlo's wayward basketballs, and to prove myself, he asked me to test it out for him.
Let's go, Chandlo.
We headed back to Chandlo's dunk zone, where I used the grappler to rescue a couple of Chandlo's balls, placing them in this tub here.
Your balls have been secured, man.
Chandlo was impressed with the climbing prowess of the Cinesnail, and he wanted to eat one, and the grappler solved my inadequacy from before, allowing me to yoink back the trap from the rock, successfully catching the bug. I gave Chandlo a Cinesnail foot. It looks comfy to walk on. And as we headed back to Snorpy's cottage, I spotted these honeybees that had emerged now that it was daytime. I caught one, and when I turned around, I found these two idiots had dazed themselves somehow.
Oh, the triple honeybee. Boom, boom, boom. Delicious.
Next, Chandlo wanted 2 more Cinesnails, so I helped a bro out and soon he was rocking a twisty cinnamon right arm. He wanted 2 honeybees next, and guess who just snagged 3 of them suckers? So Chandlo's left arm became a honey delight. Chandlo was pleased with all my help, but I still had to win over Snorpy, and apparently he was working on a secret project.
I wish I could tell Chandlo everything, but knowing the truth would only put him in more danger.
He was very pleased with the help I provided Chandlo, though.
Here, new chum, lean in close so that I may bestow a hug on you. Ah.
I'm gonna hug it out, are we? Oh. Okay, that was weird.
It turns out Snorpy planted a radio tracking device on me during our luscious hug, so he was able to natter away in my ear during my next mission, collecting this trip shot device. Somehow I got trapped in here when an alarm went off, and to free myself I had to trip this flying idiot. I have no idea how that works, but fair enough. My new gadget was going to come in handy catching this donut I spotted too. It rolled off at supersonic speed when I tried to lure it into a trap, but on attempt 2 I was ready.
Aha! Get tripped. You silly donut.
I needed a second bopsicle for Cromdo back in the Scorched Gorge, so I enraged one and lured it into this warm water, allowing me to snag it after it bonked its head on a rock. Snorpy's next task was to catch him a cookie, because he had a craving.
Why, my craving is so terrible that I would like my teeth to be Quookies, so that I may taste my own teeth, you see.
Yeah, I do see. That's a genius plan.
I fed him one, and apparently he actually wanted Oreo teeth in order to protect him from psychotronic torture, which I guess is also a good reason. Next, he wanted 2 Charmallows. I spotted these rocks here that were destructible with the use of my new grapple, and inside, a nutty snack pod. I used the exact same above water strategy as earlier to capture Charmallow number 2, and I fed them to Snorpy, resulting in a most excellent nose and foot. Snorpy believed the Charmallows had been spies for the Grumpinati, and now that they were out of the sky, he felt safe returning to Snacksburg. So off Chandlo and the Snorpster went. I returned soon after, and was pleased to see them settled in nicely. Chandlo even set up his hoop, and he'd prepared a surprise for me too. Yes indeed, a roof and walls for my house. I was immediately able to make a couple of design changes. Personal touch and all that. I paid Cromdo a visit in the Scorched Gorge, feeding him the 2 bopsicles, and he gave me the bridge as reward, which immediately exploded for some reason. And he headed back to town. The spontaneous bridge explosion wasn't all bad news, as it revealed to me the snack pod of this region, which I netted. It also revealed a fiery scorpion chilling in a vulnerable position above water, and I hadn't caught one of these yet, so this was great news.
All in the water, please. Yes. Alright, we got the Scorpio.
I spied this crystal sweetie fly too, another new Bugsnax variant, and for some reason I had a lot of trouble catching this one, with traps flying everywhere. I got there eventually though, once I shifted my strategy to flinging a spuddy at it, and then hit it with the trap follow-up once it was dazed midair and unable to evade. Job well done. I also instigated some spuddy on spuddy violence because I needed to catch one for Wambus. When I returned to town, Beffica and Cromdo were going at it because they hate each other.
Bro, he's got some good type. Number 1, Dad. Cromdo, who is your child, Cromdo? Is that your child?
Gramble and Wambus were going at it too. I don't think Gramble was pleased Wambus had been burying his beloved Bugsnax. There's lots of completely unveiled hatred in this town, it's great stuff. I gave the spuddy to Wambus, but he said it wasn't for him. He wanted me to feed it to Filbo.
Hole up by the outhouse for a spell. When his business is done,
great,
gather up the fertilizer.
I did exactly that, granting Filbo some spuddy teeth, and off he ran to the toilet. That spuddy worked its poopy magic fast, apparently.
This is an outrageous quest, by the way. Gonna wait for old mate to do his big poo.
It didn't take him long. He must be a power pooper.
Why is it? What the hell? Why is it in a bag?
Very kind of Philbo to baggy it up for me. I delivered it to Wambus and left him to fertilize his crops. I donated a few more snacks, completing the final donation campaign.
My snack pack is as big as it can get, 18 slots. And I got another achievement.
I went out on an expedition to Flavor Falls with Triffany, in search of a big stone grumpus face, and a pinkle. But before that nonsense, I realized I now had the tools necessary to catch a sandopede.
Oh, what? I get all 4. Boom.
The stone grumpus face was down in this cave, and pinkles were even easier to catch now that I could grapple hook their hats off. This expedition taught us that the grumps of this region sacrificed their dead to the Bugsnax. Seems good. I headed to Garden Grove, determined to catch the idiot that zooms between the trees.
Yeah, got him. Got him. Got the cob hopper. That's 100% of Garden Grove. Nice, nice, nice.
I also caught a Dr. Sodi, Bunga, and Friday while I was here.
We'll turn Old Mate into a burger meal deal.
1 can head, 1 burger foot, and 1 fry foot later, the combo meal was crafted. Another achievement.
Got the combo meal, baby.
I received a ladder shelf as reward for catching all the Bugsnax in Garden Grove, and this was a significant improvement over the dodgy shelf Philbo gave me. I fed Wiggle her sub-sandipedes, and guess what? They did not infuse her with inspiration. Next, she wanted to try a white cheepoo from the desert. I played basketball for a bit, and I may or may not have lost both balls in the river, and I hit up Chandlo for an interview. He reiterated how close he is with Snorpy, and revealed that Lisbert's partner Eggabell had begun training with him before she disappeared, which was out of character for her. They recorded some of her progress, and he gave me the key to her chest so I could check it out. I feel like I'm constantly invading people's privacy in this game. It's great stuff. In the chest, I found the 3rd projector tape. I fired up the 3rd home movie and witnessed Eggabell performing push-ups about as gracefully as me, and Eggabell's motivation for training was revealed.
I want to keep up with Liz for once in my life.
I watched the 4th movie too, and it was a giant fight between Lisbert and Eggabell. Liz was worried about Eggabell because she'd been participating in some experiments with a grump named Floofty. Eggabell was raging back, claiming she was happier taking control of her life, and
You're just upset because it doesn't involve you!
That's some dramatic stuff. Honestly, I'm too old for that kind of nonsense.
As you can tell, I was very sympathetic to their troubles. I followed Wiggle at midnight to see if I could find any dirt for Beffica, and discovered her trying to eat Bugsnax from Gramble's barn while Gramble sleepwalked all over the place. I shared this gossip with Beffica, and her next task was to catch her a crispy snack pod. I caught one immediately and gave her a chippy foot.
Well, that looks painful to walk on, man.
Her next target for hot gossip was Cromdo, and here wanders the dodgy weirdo off to mischief at midnight.
He's having a midnight dance.
He was singing along to Wiggle's one-hit wonder, Do the Wiggle.
I do the wiggle, do the wiggle, do the wiggle with me. Yeah!
While it was still night, I headed to the gorge to catch a white cheepoof, and Chandlo wanted to eat 3 meaty, aggressive Bugsnax, and the sub-sandipedes I had fit the bill for that, so I fed him 2.
Just need 1 more aggressive, meaty Bugsnax for Old Mate Chandlo.
I fed Wiggle the white cheepoof, and she busted out this banger.
Bugsnax on the island in my mouth, so tasty.
With yet another failure to find her muse, she became dejected, wondering if the success she found earlier in her career was a fluke. I would say so. Cromdo likes your song though, that's gotta count for something. Speaking of, I informed Beffica of Cromdo's midnight karaoke, and she actually thought that might make him more likable, and then I interviewed the man himself. Cromdo smelled a business opportunity when he heard about the Snacktooth expedition, which is exactly why he was here selling explosive bridges. He also looted Lisbert's house when she disappeared, so it's safe to say he's a highly reputable and honest salesman. And he was the first grump I'd spoken to that did not think highly of Lisbert.
Everyone here thinks she's so great, such a fantastic leader. But I know the truth. She came here to stroke her ego and get Eggabell her fix.
He also claimed Lisbert and Eggabell had stolen the boat they arrived on and abandoned everyone. And he gave me a map so I could go and see if the boat was gone for myself. Cromdo also gave me a quest to catch a variety of Bugsnax I'd never seen before, a buffer locust. And the rampage of side quests and interviews continued as I caught up with Snorpington. Snorpy being Snorpy, he only agreed to the interview if he remained anonymous.
I am Snorp redacted.
Snorpy reckoned Bugsnax are artificial, made by a secret factory buried deep in the island. He was convinced the Grumpinati was behind everything.
Lisbert disappears, we are hit with an earthquake, we suffer a snack shortage, all that in one day. Do you really think those are all coincidences? The timeline is on my chart.
He brought me in close for another hug, and then told me in hushed tones.
An entrance to the underground, locked behind a strange device. I assisted her in unraveling its secrets, and soon after, she vanished. Ooh. You must take extreme caution. I can tell you where to find it, but the rest is up to you.
I think the ancient grumpuses need to be fed first. What do they like to eat? The the pressure plates won't activate.
I had a mail task from Chandler to score 2 shots in a row without letting the ball hit the ground, so I harnessed my inner baller and made the magic happen.
Boom. I've been trying to tell everyone I'm a baller. Don't believe me now, finally.
As always, I received some decorative rewards for my efforts.
I need to donate the corn to Gramble for a quest.
Another mail task and another reward.
Yeah, that's an improvement. It looks like a dog bed, but I'll take it.
Philbo congratulated me on my progress returning 9 out of 12 dinguses back to town, but he encouraged me to rest.
Your teeth are feral, by the way. Oh dear.
Something's wrong, buddy. We better take a look.
The whole town was up after that commotion.
We saw something real spooky walk right into town.
I thought it was a grumpus at first, but like something about it was wrong.
Is it the snack squatch?
It turned into a bunch of Bugsnax and like scattered.
Sounds like the snack squatch to me. With tensions high, things devolved into a shouting match, featuring some of these slappy slaps, and eventually I was tasked with sniffing around for clues. There were Grumpus footprints that mysteriously changed into Bugsnax footprints, indicating that there was indeed some strange transforming beast. The ranch had been broken into, and it seemed all the Bugsnax had been released, and no more Bugsnax had been carved into the back of this sign.
Should I say it's probably aliens? No, that's not constructive. There are tracks that aren't quite Grumpus.
After this revelation, everyone wanted to leave town again, but Philbo manifested leadership qualities no one knew were in there, and managed to convince everyone that they were better off together.
So, we're all staying in town then?
Seems like it. As long as we can watch each other's backs.
Now let's head over to the Boiling Bay.
It had been a while since I'd hit up a new zone, so it was nice to be exploring once again.
There's some lava.
As always, I got busy scanning all the new snacks, and catching them too. I caught this French beverage.
We got the Lassadoo.
I lured this shiny kiwi fruit dingus using chocolate.
Golden Queeble. Nice.
I plucked this silly banana right out of the air.
Tripped ya. Alright, we got the Banoppa.
I lured this angry frosty idiot into the lava and thought it was funny. And after chasing me around for a bit, the big Palatos exploded into 2 little Palatos. I netted both of them. I caught a green crapple as it crabbed walked by this treasure chest, and I hooked this coconut out of a tree and waltzed right into the belly of the volcano with it, where an angry flamin' noodler decided to attack it.
It just threw the coconut in there. What the heck?
The coconut halves weren't big fans of the volcano interior, so they wandered back outside where I had some trouble catching them. While I was trying various things, one of them headbutted me right into a conversation with Floofty, who was chilling inside a wrecked ship on the beach.
Soon we will see if we can amend my ambulation.
First, though, they wanted a red Banoppa. I fed them the one I'd already caught and received an upgrade to my Snacktivator in return.
My body remembers what I eat. The Snacktivator can change snackified limbs into anything I've ever eaten.
I tested it out, changing Floofty's arm from a red Banoppa to a Strabby. The next test was to see if it would be able to restore their amputated leg. And sure enough, I was able to use the Snacktivator to replace the peg leg with a Strabby.
Bugsnax can cure the sick, revitalize the frail. This discovery will reshape the world.
By the way, I'm pretty sure they cut their own leg off so that they could test this out. That is hardcore science, you love to see it. Next, they wanted me to turn their arms into cocoa mites, so I had to figure out how to catch 4 of these coconut nerds. I was stumped though, so I instead lured this bowl of noodles with a bunch of hot sauce and managed to get it in range of the ocean, into which I launched it.
Haha, we got the noodler.
I turned my attention to the flamin' cheap-hoofs, but I couldn't think of a way to lure these into the ocean, so I was stumped as to how to put their fire out. But when I emerged, the Palatos was randomly popping off.
Here we go, here we go. Go, you beast. Oh crap, I'm on fire.
It was absolute chaos as these ridiculous creatures ran around like headless chickens. And there were ice cube coconuts flying everywhere. Somehow this ice cube cocoa mite knocked out his brethren, allowing me to catch a 3rd nerd. This soda copped a stray, so I figured I might as well net him too. And I got frozen a bunch. At one point I noticed there were silly willies afoot inside the volcano too, so I had a peek at that, before emerging again to alternate between being frozen and on fire some more. I'd managed to catch 3 coconuts and my bags had filled up, so I fed them to Floofty. And when I got back to it, the stars aligned. A thawed Palatos gave the cocoa mite a whack, resulting in a non-ice cube daze that I could take advantage of.
Yes, they finally, I don't know how that happened. It's absolute chaos.
This was also my first opportunity to catch the Palatos Grande, and with that I'd caught 9 out of 15 Bugsnax for this zone. I tripped and netted this Grape Skeeto that had emerged due to the arrival of night, and somehow this silly Palatos managed to be in the right place at the right time to put the fire of this flamin' cheapoof out as I tripped it out of the sky.
Alright, run into him. Yes. Boom. Boom. Too easy. You're another frosty idiot, are you? This is where the boat, I think, was supposedly docked. Here we go. Liz's notes on a secret code.
This was the second half of the code I found earlier. Some kind of instructions, probably to open the door Snorpy whispered to me about. I launched the Sherby into the lava, defrosting and eventually dazing him, earning me the capture. I fed Floofty a 4th Cocomite, and they said something revealing.
This means that all Bugsnax are one and the same. Each one could change into any other with the right stimulus.
So like a hive mind, organism of many bodies kind of vibe. Sounds very creepy and reminds me of the Snack Squatch. Anyway, I added a Noodler and Banopper back into the mix of Floofty's limbs. I did so, and then arose an important question I'd been wondering about since the start of this game.
When every cell of my body is Bugsnax, will I remain Floofty Fizzlebean? Or will I simply be Bugsnax, right down to the taste?
And with that disturbing thought, Floofty headed back to town.
Oh, what the heck? You can press these. That guy 1 straw. That guy has 2 straws. This guy has 3 straws, so I guess he's 3rd. And this one's got 4 straws. Success! I got an achievement for that. Solve the secret of the lava cave or the secret of the dunes. Is it like a secret entrance? No way. Oh, it is like a secret entrance.
So I'd found a sneaky entrance into the sizzling sands. But after a quick look around, I decided I'd better head back to town to empty my bag. On the way, I found this snack pod in a barrel. I received some new decorative stuff in the mail, so I checked those out, and I figured I might as well donate all the new varieties of Bugsnax I'd caught to Gramble's ranch. I learned Snorpy and Floofty were siblings, and they of course hated each other, and I headed off with Wiggle to hunt down one last Bugsnax, a big bopper that she believed would finally infuse her with musical juice. As usual, she whipped out her banjo and sang a ridiculous song.
Come to me, my muse of the sea.
And it actually worked.
Oh my gosh, it's a huge sushi.
This Megamaki was my first encounter with a legendary Bugsnax, and he shot some of these ones at me. I don't know what they are, I'm gonna assume poo nuggets. And it was obvious I needed to use the trip shot to defeat this long boy, but this chopstick was being unhelpful.
What? What the heck? Whoa! What do I do? He's shooting stuff at me.
I eventually made it happen though, and chunks of sushi went flying everywhere. The big fat head chased me around trying to headbutt me, but I managed to snag a few scrambling mini-markies before what was left of the big dragon reassembled. This time it was getting some good air, making tripping it a more difficult prospect. I eventually found the right angle, but this time the Megamaki went super speed, calling his mini friends back into line, and I only managed to net one mini-markie before it was flying again. And rinse and repeat.
Come here. Come here. Hey, how did you get it? No!
Thanks to those silly willies, it was reassembled yet again.
Okay, I need one more mini-markie.
Rinse again, repeat again.
Now this is the last mini. There we go. We got it. Hang on, is that... That's the entirety of Boiling Bay. Nice. I think you need a Megamaki nose, man.
And once again, Wiggle found no inspiration, even with a nose like that. Her career remains in the dumpster where it belongs. Next door in the Simmering Springs, I found some Baja Tark roaches. I guess they emerge at night. So I caught one, and I caught a couple of grumpy snack pods for Beffica too.
What are you running from? Are you going to do a big poo? Alright, poop it out, mate. Good luck.
So I couldn't hand that quest in, but I gave Chandler a mini-markie, his 3rd meaty aggressive snack. And for his next quest, he asked me to spot him for a new exercise.
What the heck is going on? It's the most random thing I've ever seen.
Old mate was running around like a dingus, and I had to time a grapple hook shot at these suspended dumbbells so that they fell on his head. Seriously, this bloke is a goose. Once he had 5 balanced upon his meaty noggin, he exclaimed,
I feel swole, dog!
But despite all the protein-rich Bugsnax and excellent training strategies, Chandler was still unable to scoop out this stump, indicating he is clearly a smelly weakling. So his final strategy for becoming an unstoppable muscly beast was to track down a mega monster in Flavor Falls. Behind the waterfall and in this cave, Chandler gained us entry through this big door, where we found another legendary Bugsnax, the Mama Melon. Chandler copped a mighty melon slap, and I began catching some wee melons. The problem was I still had about 600 sushis in my bag, so it was getting a little ridiculous. I eventually worked out Big Mama charges in rage to try and free her babies from my trap. So I set the trap up in front of these statues, and when Mama came zooming in, I grappled the stalactite above, causing it to fall and begin cracking the watermelon's exterior. After doing this a few times, the delicious insides were exposed, and Chandler rose from the dead to help me lure her one last time. And with one final gravity-assisted stalactite stab right into the juicy bits, Mama Melon was defeated. I gave Chandler a watermelon nose, but much like Wiggle, he was disappointed.
I was hoping I'd get twice as big or something. No, I'm just the same Chandlo.
I would be more sympathetic to these grumps if they didn't have wildly unreasonable expectations, thinking eating a specific snack would magically make their dreams come true. Anyway,
that means Flavor Falls is complete. Let's go. Oh, hang on. No, it's not. What's this?
I fed Beffica some grumpy snack pods, completing another quest, and chatted to Wambus, who admitted his Filbo poop strategy had failed to grow his crops. His next idea was to try plant Bugsnax that dig underground. I fed Chandlo a Baja Tarkroach for a mail request, giving him a Taco Mohawk.
Let's see if we can get him fully fed as well.
I did exactly that, transforming every possible body part.
Fully transform a Grumpus. Okay, there we go. Nice.
You have to feed 13 Bugsnax to fully transform a Grumpus, and that right there was the achievement to transform one. But there's another achievement to transform all of the Grumps, so that was going to take a while to work towards. And so I made a habit of feeding Grumps as much as possible between quests.
Filbo, you're looking good, man.
Since Gramble was having trouble training his little Bugsnax friends, he wanted to see how he fared with some big uns. So he asked me to catch a couple of large Bugsnax. And then it was time to interview Floofty. Floofty is obviously a scientist, and had been studying Bugsnax with Eggabell's help. But as we saw in the fourth home movie, Lizbert wasn't a fan of Eggabell helping Floofty, and Eggabell ended up choosing to go with Lizbert rather than continuing in the research. As a result, Floofty was not a fan of Lizbert. Floofty also gave me the key to Eggabell's personal storage box. Rather than go and look in the storage box, I randomly went on another expedition with Triffany. This time we discovered evidence of the pirate Grumpbeard, whose ship must have wrecked on Snacktooth long ago. I also caught and fed her a Palatos. After that riveting insight into the island's history, I headed over to Sizzling Sands.
Cheeser, praying Picantus.
I caught the can of Fanta in the water first. I enticed this loaded Spuddy to charge this praying Picantus, but the Picantus was on fire, so I was gonna need to try harder than that. And I found Shelda, meditating upon a rock.
In seeking inner peace, Shelda has renounced material temptations. So it is that Shelda is really grumping hungry.
She wanted some cheese. These two idiots gave each other brain damage, so I took advantage and caught myself some double-loaded Spuddy before setting up my trip shot and snagging a cheeser. I investigated the area around this pyramid, which featured some intriguing fixtures, and I found this egg. I ran it over to a nearby loaded Spuddy, covered it with ketchup, and successfully enticed a Spuddy charge, cracking the egg and releasing the Eggler, which also suffered a Spuddy charge, as well as captivity once I snagged it in my net. The cheese plants were at the top of this big rock, so I used the launch pad to get myself up there and grabbed a few. I lured this Enchilito out of the sand with some hot sauce, catching yet another Bugsnax, and I gave Shelda her cheese. She waffled on about wanting rebirth, and apparently me cracking some eggs would help with that somehow, so I cracked a second one for her.
I too have burst from my shell, and so oozes forth my spiritual yoke.
There was really no need to say something that gross. Next, she wanted me to break 2 Picantuses of temptation into their composite parts. I figured I needed to douse the Picantus's flames first, so I began trying to lure one to the pond with hot sauce.
Hey. What the heck?
But apparently this Sodi hates all varieties of sauce. I caught it so that it wouldn't interfere. I managed to double launch this fella into the water.
Go on then, blow up. Blow up. What the heck? What the heck?
The Willy Willy launched the stunned dingus, interrupting his explosion. I took the opportunity to catch him whole. I figured I'd better catch the Willy Willy pancake creature too. And after it sent one of my traps skyward, I tripped and caught the flap Jackarack. But I still needed 2 praying Picantuses to explode into pieces, so I got busy launching some nerds into the pond. After the 20-second timer, explode they did, and off went a Cheepoof, Enchilito, and some Tarkroaches. I caught a Tarkroach for my collection before stumbling upon this clearly destructible rock in a hole. I covered it in hot sauce, and this Buffalocust couldn't resist. I headed down to investigate. I didn't know what I was looking at, but I did find a black raspberry which I caught. There were some obstacles to break down with my grapple hook, some scorpion statues, and finally a launch pad which I used to exit.
How am I gonna get this big fella down?
This is the pizza from the very start of the game, and I had no answer to that question. I reset the zone by leaving and re-entering because I needed another Picantus victim. And when I launched one towards the water, the soda had obviously respawned too, and I discovered it also hates fire, so it helped me out with a powerful spit of water.
The soda guy spat on him for me. Good job, soda guy. Time to explode. That was perfect timing.
The snacks of temptation had been exploded, and next Shelda had me leading the trapped black raspberry below to the light. I used a chalk-covered sprout to achieve this, making sure to avoid the obstacles and the water, before guiding the raspberry to be launched into the desert above. With the lost now found, Shelda's time in the desert was at an end, as she headed back to Snacksburg to spread her extreme wisdom in town. I snatched a black lolive out of the sky, and hooked a meaty snack pod.
Clickboard.
I enticed this Buffalocust to ram into the ground, and once he was stuck hopping around after being dazed, I managed to launch him towards the water.
Oh, it almost landed in the water.
Yes! How did that work?
12 out of 15, that's not bad. We'll come back. What am I missing here? I'm missing some kind of peel bug.
I was indeed missing a limey boy from the Scorched Gorge Pokedex, so I used Sprout to spook one out of this hole and straight into my trap.
100% of Scorched Gorge. Done.
I planted an Inchurito in Wambus's garden, and I hung up this thing that Shelter sent me as thanks.
Gotta go the random bushes hanging from the ceiling for sure.
I gave the Buffalocust to Cromdo, and his plan was to try and entice Triffany into a trade, because he wanted a map that Triffany had found. Sadly,
I'm not letting a crook like you get a hold of that map.
so we ended up resorting to theft. I have no idea how I got roped into it, but here I am, sneaking upstairs to steal the map. But on the way out...
What was that? Cactus? Oh, good. Love you, cactus. Prickly pear.
I gave Cromdo his map, and he said we'd go follow it once the heat died down. I fully transformed Floofty, resulting in this extremely fashionable look, and then it was time to execute Floofty's next Bugsnax experiment. Decapitation, to see if Bugsnax would be up to the task of regenerating an entire head. I was engrossed, I could not wait for the head to go flying. But Floofty's brother Snorpington came out of nowhere as the voice of wisdom. Very disappointing, but no heads rolled today, and Floofty's ridiculous experiment was cut short. I donated a praying Picantus to the ranch.
There you go, now I just need a Scoopy Banoopy.
And when I spotted Gramble sleepwalking yet again, I knew what I needed to do.
I can feed him while he's asleep. That's evil.
Evil indeed, feeding Gramble his beloved Bugsnax while he's unconscious, but there is an achievement to feed Gramble, and of course I need to transform all the grumps, so this midnight feast was a necessary evil.
Oh, his hat fell off? His hat fell off because I changed his head.
I caught a Sneakiri and a Sherby and planted them both for Wambus, and he told me to return tomorrow to see if his latest farming effort was successful. And Beffica gave me yet another stalker quest. This time she wanted some dirt on Chandlo. The heat after our theft had died down, apparently, so it was time for Cromdo and I to follow the stolen map to the Sizzlin Sands. Cromdo was able to solve the mystery of the pyramid, pressing a button to open this thingo up, and causing these statues to whip out some giant pizza cutters too. I triggered a mighty pizza cutter whack using my grapple, and the casket here was broken, revealing this toasty fella. When I placed the Bombino on here, it exploded, allowing me to catch it, and breaking the seal, revealing this target. And when I placed my launch pad on the circle...
There it is! My piece of the pie! Come on down here, you muddy angel!
We had successfully summoned the legendary Mothsa Supreme, and the strategy to defeat this flying beast was to launch these explosive pouches. This knocked the pizza to the ground, where it was vulnerable to a glorious pizza cutter chop. Some Willy Willies joined the fray, which is always a bonus. In fact, the mother of all Willy Willies over here kept intercepting my Bombino launches, which was outrageous interference from Mother Nature, but it was ultimately a rinse and repeat situation, much like the other legendary snacks, and after one final chop, the big pizza had dwindled down to one floppy slice, topping side down in the sand, which is a very sad day, and in my net it went.
Mothsa Supreme.
I fed Cromdo the prize and gave him a nice pepperoni nose in celebration. I was at 14 out of 15 captures for the Sizzling Sands. All I needed was a score pepper, so I got to work. But this is one tricky chili boy, as he skitters about on this cliff face quite far away from the water. My strategy was to entice the fiery boy with cheese and then launch him into the pond, but it wasn't quite working. In the end, I managed to cheese lure him close enough to the Spittersody, who helpfully doused his flames, and that was 15 out of 15 for this zone. On the way home, I completed a very random mail task to take a photo of a shy weenie worm covered in ketchup, and he did not appreciate it.
Ow, he's very angry about it.
When I returned to town, Beffica was blackmailing Cromdo. She'd taken photos of us stealing Triffany's map, and my favorite part was when Pretzelhead here leisurely strolled right through the aggressive interaction. Beautiful stuff. I made some adjustments to my ever-evolving house design thanks to the influx of yet more mail arrivals, decorative items galore, and a certain grump was sleepwalking again, so it was time to work my magic.
Now old mate Sleepyhead is fully Bugsnackified.
I ran all the way to Flavor Falls via Garden Grove, and as I arrived, I realized something.
Oh, you can fast travel. I've been running everywhere this whole time. Okay. Why didn't I check that sooner? Am I a bit silly? Now we catch this peel bug that's been missing my whole life.
It didn't quite go to plan though. It was a little chaotic.
Alright, we got the ruby peel bug.
13 out of 13 Bugsnax captured for Flavor Falls.
I'm gonna use fast travel for the first time this entire playthrough because I did not think to click on the map because I'm a silly willy.
He's there again. I caught the lemony peel bug of this area.
Alright, I still need 2 more. I don't know what they are.
I returned to town to discover Wambus's farming efforts had once again failed.
What am I supposed to do if even I don't believe in me?
These character stories are also sad, man.
Finishing Wambus's chain of side quests earned me some pretty cool rewards though, so his devastating sadness was definitely worth it. I also fed him all 4 varieties of peel bug for a mail request. I returned to Sugar Pine Woods, where I decided to target a specific achievement to trip a Bugsnax with a tripwire attached to my buggy ball. After pulling that off, I discovered the way further up the mountain was now cleared, and up to the frosted peak I climbed. It was indeed rather frosty up here. I immediately caught a Mount Sodi.
What the hell is that? That's a Scoopy Banoopy.
This big old banana split was a frosty dingus, so I devised a choc lure plan by which I launched him onto this little campfire.
He's gonna blow into pieces, man.
He did indeed explode, and his components went flying everywhere. Desserts scattered to the 4 winds, so I of course had some capturing to do. I first caught the cheery that had hidden in this bush. I tripped the high velocity banana out of the sky.
Gotcha, you silly banopper.
But the Scoopy was a little more tricky, as it was frosty and a burrower. But after a couple of failed attempts, I managed to lure the silly goose onto a launch pad, as he gave up his underground ways for the love of chalky sauce. By the way, I just realized I should have been using Sprout the buggy ball to lure all of these dinguses instead of wasting sauce with these messy trails, but oh well, it got the job done. I continued exploring the peak, and was soon tripping this cookie off the wall.
Gotcha, choco-chippy.
I spotted a flutterjam flying circles above, and all it took to bring this schnack to the ground was shooting peanut butter at it. And the PB and J was irresistible, I guess, as the wings closed instinctively. In this cave was a Strudler, but it was fiery, so I left it be. And I spotted this cheeky fella back down here.
Instabug. Goodness gracious.
This was a unique Bugsnax, as it loved the lens, and the way to lure it out of its bush was to whip out my camera. And tucked down this way, a most curious find. A bunch of statues, an enormous imposing door with some pressure plates in front of it, and an abandoned igloo. Surely this had something to do with Eggabell and Lizbert's fate. I left that alone for now, and back up here I finally paid some attention to this main cave.
Was that Eggabell?
It is the eggiest of bells, yes indeed.
It's not safe. You need to get off this mountain for the sake of your health and well-being. Trust me, I'm a doctor.
I was able to conduct my interview with Eggabell, that's interview number 11, immediately upon discovering her in the mountain cave, but she didn't reveal much. She told me to go away because it's not safe, and that she and Lizbert had been separated when an earthquake struck, and then she just ran off. There were a bunch of ice chunks in here, some of which had Bugsnax inside, so I shot hot sauce at them to lure the fiery stew over for some defrost action. Again, I probably should have used Sprout, but I totally forgot about that, and instead developed an ingenious strategy once I ran low on hot sauce. I set myself on fire, and I managed to free this egg roll. I grappled off its takeaway container shell and scooped it up. The other chunks of ice held snacks I'd already caught previously, but I freed them anyway to be sure. I managed to lure this furious dessert beast into the cave, which worked a treat when it came face to face with the fiery Strudler.
Right, we got the Strudler. And we got the Scoopy Banoopy. Popping off, man. Scoopy Banoopy. Alright, that's 10 out of 14, just like that.
I also grappled a melty snack pod off the cave's roof.
It's time to follow Eggabell to the igloo.
Stop sneaking up on me or I'll quarantine you.
That threat gave me trauma flashbacks of the pandemic, but I powered on bravely. And despite her threat, she wanted me to collect a bunch of crap to crack the code of how to open this door. And thanks to how thorough I'd been thus far,
I've got the journal, the missing page, the device notes, and notes on the mountain map.
It says I'll need to activate these statues by feeding them the snack they represent.
Who would have thought, man?
Eggabell asked me to take care of 3 and that she'd do the other 3. So I immediately fed the Flutterjam, Chippy, and Mount Sodi statues, and Eggabell took care of the rest. But from there we were stumped because we needed a 3rd grump to step on the big old buttons.
Ask Filbo. Liz trusts Filbo for some reason. Ew!
Scan a grumpus after saucing them with cheese. Nice.
After that glorious achievement, I spotted a chili nilly flying around. These need to be thawed in order to get them out of the sky, and my efforts at doing that didn't quite go to plan.
There we go. Oh dear. Oh dear, he just flew deep into the abyss. This is another one? Chili nilly. What the hell's it doing?
I think I broke the chili nilly because its flying had turned into lethargic sliding and swimming, and there was no discernible pattern to its wandering. I tried to launch it into the fire a few times, but had no luck until...
Yes! I think I'm bugged. What the hell?
I donated a Scoopy Banoopy to Gramble for his quest, and then, since I appeared to be nearing the end of the main story up the mountain, I decided rather than immediately grabbing Filbo and heading back to Frosted Peaks, I'd better knock over some side quests, mail tasks, and achievements, because I was concerned if I progressed the story too far, I'd lose my chance at 100%. I got busy transforming all the grumps, starting with Wiggle, and then Cromdo, featuring a pickled proboscis. I interviewed Shelda, and she explained that she believes Bugsnax are toxins, and the temptation to eat them should be resisted, and that her god Mother Nature abhors them.
A doom befalls those who consume the toxin. The ground shakes. The sky splits!
And this toxin-related doom was what had befallen Lizbert, according to Shelda. She also gave me a mystery lockbox. With that, I'd interviewed 12 out of 12 grumps, earning an achievement. I had the key to this lockbox already, so I opened it, claiming the 5th projector tape. This last video diary showed Liz explaining she'd found the mysterious door, when Eggabell appeared out of nowhere to join her in the wilderness. They set aside their differences from the fight we watched in that earlier home video, and together ventured off to investigate the mysteries of that door.
That's them going to the Frosted Peaks, obviously. Watch all of Lizbert's video diaries. There we go. 18 out of 30. The achievements are coming in thick and fast, baby.
I then spied on Chandlo at midnight for Beffica, and he was just working out.
I got nothing to hide. No shame.
Follow the pointer and... Ah! Wait, come back! Manny! But Natalie, Steve!
Oh dear.
They left me. I guess that's just what family does.
It appeared Gramble wasn't having much luck training the large Bugsnax either, so that was the sad conclusion to his efforts at making a family of buggy friends to keep him company. I then chatted to my mate Shelda.
Behold, the box of purity.
Supposedly, this box will purify Bugsnax of their toxins. Very interesting. She asked me to insert a snack, so I whacked a chili nilly in there, and she told me to return one day hence. I had a snooze in my doggy bed and returned to her, and she claimed the toxins had been purified.
Pretty sure you ate it, bro. You got a ice cream sandwich foot.
She aggressively denied that allegation and insisted I must catch 3 more Bugsnax to put in the purity box. I informed Sushi Nose here that Chandlo had 0 dirt to be found.
We're going to go through Snorpy. Nobody knows Chandlo like Snorpy.
To achieve this, she wanted me to turn her arms green, because she had a plan. I got busy all around the island catching various snacks for these quests, and soon I was feeding Beffica a green pill bug and giving her green appley arms. And it was time to execute that plan.
Hey, Snorp Dog. Can I, ask you something?
Apparently Snorpy cleans his glasses at this time, so Beffica was taking advantage of this with her impeccable impersonation, plus green arms combo. But somehow this attempt at digging up some dirt on Chandlo resulted in this confession from poor Snorpy.
But the truth is, Chandlo, I love you with every fiber of my heart.
That's not a secret to anybody.
And with that, Beffica's quest chain ended in failure. There was no dirt to be found on blessed Chandlo. Also, I love how Beffica doesn't give a crap that she tricked Snorpy into pouring his heart out. It's great stuff. I think Beffica is growing on me. I placed the 3 Bugsnax Shelda asked for into the purity box, and surprise, surprise, the next day as she was spouting infinite wisdom to her disciples, she was sporting some suspicious looking limbs. Even though everyone could see she's a raging hypocrite, she insisted on keeping up her charade, asking me to put yet another 3 Bugsnax into the purity box. I headed out and caught all 3, a Palatos, Flapjackerack, and Sprinklepeed. I caught a bunch of other random Bugsnax while I was out and about too, as I still had some grump transforming to do. I placed the 3 into the purity box, and with that Shelda's quest chain was complete, as she admitted,
I ate them. Because I'm not better than that. Despite all my years, I'm still weak and clueless.
Again, all these character-specific quests are so depressing. What is going on? Since I needed to fully transform Shelda for the achievement, I chucked a bunch more Bugsnax into the box, as this was the only way of feeding her since I was unable to feed her directly, and I continued the grind. I exploded a Scoopy Banoopy and caught all its component parts, and fed these component parts to Filbo, earning the Sunday Best achievement for transforming a Grumpus with Scoopy, Banoppa, and Cheery.
He also looks absolutely glorious, no one can deny. We got Snoopy's Scoopy Banoopy. Where are you, Snoopy? Is that your name? Snoopy? Snorpy.
I'd caught this intact Scoopy Banoopy as well while at the Frosted Peak, and so progressed Snorpy's quest line. His next quest was to set up flares around town, in preparation to defend against a Grumpinati attack, or something. But the big news was this.
Did you know that my trip shot can do more than, well, trip? It can also spread fires.
Oh, really?
Or spread waters, harness the elements of nature, if you will. With that in mind, you should be able to light the rest of my flares.
That's gonna be so useful.
I placed the trip shot right on top of a fire, shot it at another nearby unlit torch, and the tripwire became a flaming tripwire, which obviously lit up the other torch. This mechanic would have been so good to know when I was out trying to catch all them frosty Bugsnax, but it was better late than never, I guess. I lit all 7 of Snorpy's flares, and I'm not sure how this helps defend the town, but who can argue with the wisdom of the Snorpster? He told me he'd let me know if more trouble arises. The next day, I realized there was some lingering collateral damage from my fire lighting shenanigans.
These 2 guys are just still on fire. You'd love to see it.
And I decided to see about catching the few Bugsnax that were still missing from my Bugapedia.
They only appear when cold somehow. What?
I soon worked out this triangle needed to be tinkled in the AM, so that this mysterious breakfast snack would heed the call. So I slept until 5 AM and tinkled away.
That work?
I was expecting the snack to appear right near the triangle, hence the trap placement.
They appeared in the ocean though.
No problem, that's nothing a tripwire can't handle.
Come on then. Come on then. There we go, we got the waff stacker rack. Beautiful. And that's 12 out of 12 for Simmering Springs.
I also got busy completing tasks I'd received via the mail, because all of these had decorative rewards, and there was an achievement to completely decorate my house. I had no idea how many mail tasks I needed to do, but I of course planned to just keep doing them until I got the achievement. These requests ranged from taking a photo of a honeybee with a basketball stuck to it, to collecting lost items for Grumps, to catching specific Bugsnax to feed to Grumps. I'd probably already done about 15 of these up to this point, but I still had plenty to go before I got that achievement. I won't tell you about all of them because it was a bit of a grind, but you get the idea. I was doing lots of mail requests. I found my first rainbow sweetie fly in Sugar Pine Forest and pulled off this maneuver.
Quick grabble, grabble, grabble. Gotcha. Nice.
I headed to Flavor Falls and tracked down the 5th snack pod of this region, earning an achievement.
Finally found all 5 snack pods in one biome.
And the house decoration options piled up. I'm not sure this pink wallpaper is my vibe though. And
you're fully transformed now after I
I fully transformed old mate Wambus. I just pretzeled him to no end. Pretzels galore. It was so salty. I fully transformed Triffany too, and she somehow ended up with a gummy bear looking thing for a nose. Wonderful stuff.
Bugsnax is sometimes seen wearing hats that Grumpuses have left behind. Consult the hat board. I caught Cromdo's hat without even noticing. What the heck? Alright, so there's another hat available in the Pyramid Land.
This discovery sparked my realization that there was an achievement to collect 10 of these hats, so I began including hat hunting into my activities, alongside continued completion of plenty of mail requests.
Bro, that's the hat. That's the hat.
As you can see, the way you collect a hat is to literally find a random Bugsnax wearing it. You catch that specific Bugsnax and boom, a new hat variety. When I returned to the ranch, the new hat was hanging on a hook and the image had changed, cluing me into where the next hat could be found. My recently acquired knowledge about constructing flaming tripwires was extremely useful. Here's an example of that. And something about this cookie captured my attention.
I think he is wearing a hat.
And so I tripped the silly goose and stole his bucket hat. And I was well and truly in grind mode at this point. I wanted to knock over the hat achievement and the house decorating achievement. I claimed the jester's hat off this sweetie fly in Garden Grove. I caught all 4 varieties of Sody and fed them to Snorpy, completing a mail request. And while I was at it, I fully transformed him. And it's fair to say I made him look a little silly. I incited chaos in the volcano so that I could catch another Flamin' Cheepoo for a mail request. I paid another visit to the peak to catch a Cheery for the same reason. I attempted to collect all 5 snack pods in Flavor Falls within a 30-second window, but after a couple of attempts I realized I was too slow of a nerd to pull this off, so I chose to ignore that particular mail request. This Ribblepede was wearing a top hat, so I of course snagged that for my collection.
Right, there's another hat in Garden Grove, good to know.
I fully transformed Beffica, and I had a bunch of pretzels again because of my speedrun failures in Garden Grove, so this was my 3rd pretzel-heavy grump, and the completion of a huge achievement.
Boom, that's a big one. Fully transform every Grumpus. Nice, nice, nice.
With the many mail requests I'd been completing came countless decorative rewards, so I had a quick session admiring the new options available to me before continuing the grind. I stole the graduation cap right off this sandwich's head, Snorpy's hat off this green crapple. I did a mail request to simply jump off the top of the mountain, and that's a little bit of a mean-spirited request when you think about it, but I took no fall damage so I didn't take it personally. I fed an instabug to Beffica, except with all the changes to her body you can't really tell this is Beffica, but trust me, it's Beffica. And when I headed to check the mailbox yet again, I was pleasantly surprised.
I lifted your crib, dog!
I don't know how many mail quests I did exactly, I'd guess around 50, but this was the moment I'd been waiting for. Now that my house was fully built, I could finally finish decorating and earn the coveted achievement to fully decorate my house. I headed upstairs and outfitted this new room, which didn't trigger the achievement for some reason, but when I fiddled with the outdoor decorations, I got what I was after.
We got the achievement, fully furnish your hut.
I continued decorating to get it just how I liked it, but with that I no longer needed to complete any more quests sent to me in the mail, so I was happy to completely ignore those for the rest of the playthrough. I still had a couple more hats to collect though. Also, I finally realized what the hats were actually for.
That's what you do. You can put them on the Bugsnax. Heck yeah. Alright, now I understand. How many hats do I have? 1, 2, 3. I've got 7 already. I only need 3 more. You can wear the Jester hat. Beautiful.
I claimed Gramble's beanie from this loaded spuddy, and apparently this chippy is a huge fan of hats because his head was once more adorned, this time with a witch's hat. And finally, I caught the skull hat from this Friday, and that was another big achievement taken care of.
Collect 10 hats. 23 out of 30 achievements. We can just finish the game now and we should get the rest of the achievements.
After admiring how the skull cap looks on this praying Picantus, that is exactly what I did. I got busy continuing the main quest.
This is a big mountain, huh? A lot of...
Philbo, mate.
Oh, a lot of steps.
You gotta work on your cardio.
Philbo was delighted to see Eggabell alive, so they caught up briefly before we got down to business. We stood on these big pressure plates in the order mentioned in Liz's notes, but when they tried to push the door open...
I could have killed us all!
After that, Eggabell tried to shoo us away from the mountain to protect us.
I want to find Lizbert just as badly as you do. You don't have to do this alone.
Yes, I do! I'm a burden to everybody around me. That's why she's gone.
What do you mean?
I was being stupid, and I slipped up on the cliffs while I was trying to show off. The earthquake hit, and I was gonna fall, but Liz saved me. Like she always does. She got swept away, and then the ground opened beneath her, and it swallowed her up.
Finally, I had a report from an actual eyewitness. In response to this, Philbo told this wonderful story.
I tried eating this purple flower, but then I threw up, and then I went blind for a bit, and then I fell in a hole.
And that was exactly what Eggabell needed, apparently, because she agreed she'd reach out to ask us to help again once she figured out what had gone wrong with this attempt at opening the door.
So Eggabell has returned to Schnacksburg. Okay, that was a new achievement. Return every Grumpus.
I looked at the notes for a bit and was confused as to why what we'd done hadn't worked, but I soon returned to Snacksburg and chatted to Philbo, who was ready to celebrate the fact that all 12 Grumps had successfully returned to town.
Once you start the party, you won't be able to catch Bugsnax or complete quests.
So I figured I'd better hold off doing that.
I still need 2 more.
I soon realized I could now continue Snorpy's side quest chain, and he reported that seismic activity was currently getting a little bumpy, so we headed off to the Frosted Peak to investigate.
The source of the seismic readings. Where is the cause?
After I shot a flaming tripwire at this random candle, the cause became apparent. A big old birthday cake. And so began the battle with another legendary Bugsnax. The cake had 2 candles on it as it ran around like a goose, so I used a flaming tripwire to light both of them, which inspired the cake to go drill mode and disappear into the earth. Meanwhile, a bunch of cute little cake slices ran off, providing a rather obvious trail for us to follow.
Alright, we got the baby cake legs, nice.
We followed them all the way down here, and it was time for round 2 with Mama Cake Legs. It was exactly the same deal as the first time, a simple matter of paying attention to the birthday cake's pathing and positioning the flaming tripwire appropriately. And soon we were following the bubbas back up and around the other side of the mountain. This time the spider cake got creative, going war mode. But with one last candle to be lit, the snack was soon defeated, completing Snorpy's quest chain and settling the seismic activity, for the time being at least. And into my net it went.
Another achievement, defeat all the legendary Bugsnax, nice.
And of course the spider cake went straight into the Snorpster's gob.
Let's give you a daddy cake legs body. Ooh, crispy white. I like it. Finished off the Frosted Peak. Good news. I'm still missing one random one from Sugar Pine. What is this?
It was yet another sad conclusion to a side quest, as Chandler was deeply upset with Snorpy for keeping him in the dark about the dangerous mission we'd just been on. Anyway, I next realized Triffany's quest chain was also incomplete, and I hoped this expedition would result in me finding whatever Bugsnax I was missing from Sugar Pine Forest. But no, Triffany and I were destined for the Frosted Peak. We climbed all the way to the top of the mountain. We were searching for evidence of Triffany's grandma, so when I arrived at the top to see this skeleton, I figured it was going to be sad news for Wafflehead here.
Come on, Wafflehead. You're so slow.
Even when I was a kid, Grandma didn't have too many teeth. This can't be her.
So that was disappointing. I headed to the Sugar Pine Woods to try and find the final Bugsnax, but I had no luck, so I eventually resorted to Google and discovered I was missing the bopsicle. I'd caught a big bopsicle, but I never let a big bopsicle explode into two not big bopsicles, hence my confoundment. But finally.
Woo! Catch 100 unique species. Alright, we did it. That's 100% Sugar Pine Woods. And 100% of the Bugsnaxopedia.
Floofty provided confirmation that the skeleton atop the mountain was not Triffany's granny, and Triffany was rather disappointed, because now she would never know what happened to her dear grandma. And with that uplifting conclusion, all of the side quests were complete, and it was time to wrap up the main story, when out of nowhere came Snorpy, who invited me to the beach, where this happened.
An island? Bro, what is this, a whole new zone? Where did this come from?
I was convinced I was ready to finish the game, so an entire new zone popping out of nowhere confused me. I later learned this is DLC that was added to the game sometime after release, so that's why it felt a little random appearing once I'd completed all the other side quests. But I also soon learned it features some of the most interesting Bugsnax in the game, so I wasn't complaining. I rounded up Triffany to bring archaeological and historical expertise, Floofty to bring scientific expertise, and Shoulder for her herbal expertise. And these three were to join Snorpy, Chandlo, and I on an expedition to investigate the island. And then there was heaps of dialogue that stretched my limited literacy skills, but here's what you need to know. Turns out Snorpy was too scared to go to the island, so he stayed back, and I went across with the other four. But they were all bickering, lacking respect for each other's expertise, and being all-round gooses. So that was a good start to the expedition. The island was pretty cool, and I was immediately making use of a flaming tripwire to get us across this little bridge. Next was a buggy ball maze with these pillars that moved up and down. And once I maneuvered the ball to the button up top, the way forward opened and we emerged to witness the glory of this ancient land.
What is that? Ancient launch pad? Wait, what the hell?
I meant to scan that absolutely enormous flying thing, but I somehow scanned a launch pad. Either way, it seems the Bugsnax on this island are in fact big snacks, because they are large.
It's bunger time!
Excellent.
Is it just me? Or is that bunger way bigger than normal?
Chandlo's outrageously muscly body had broken the way through to this weird shrine holding this urn. When I picked it up, a 30-second timer began, so I did what seemed logical and threw it at the big bunga.
Oh, it shrunk him.
In its shrunken state, the bunga was vulnerable to my tripwire.
There we go, we got the bunga royale. Let's go.
I immediately tried shrinking Chandlo, but that didn't work, which was very disappointing. I fed him the giant bunga, and we returned to have a lively fireside chat with the crew, by the end of which there were 4 quest lines for me to pick up. Shoulder wanted to see if there were more shrines like the one we had just found, as it appeared to be a shrine to Mother Nature, Shoulder's god. Chandlo just wanted to eat more giant snacks to see if they made him more swole. Floofty was fascinated by the shrink spice and wanted a sample to study, and Triffany wanted to unravel the island's history. I got to work, throwing some shrink spice at Floofty.
Ah, the goggles! They do nothing!
Next, I sent the buggy ball through this hole, causing this big roly-poly idiot to come out of nowhere and barge away forward in both directions, allowing both Triffany and Shoulder to head out and conduct their investigations. I made the Ched Orb my first target, shrinking it down the next time it rolled back around, causing it to hide in this hollowed-out log. I of course used the good old buggy ball technique to spook the round fella straight into my trap, and so I caught my second big snack. Next, I set my sights on this Clawbsteroni that randomly had a trampoline on its back. The trampoline ended up being elite protection from the urn of shrinky spice, as it bounced off with an outrageous boing. So I resorted to luring the big pasta with hot sauce, and that did the trick.
We got the Clawbsteroni.
Back over in the other direction that it opened up was a frosty Millie Mochi, and with these torches available to make use of, it was pretty clear what needed to happen. I collected some shrink spice from the shrine, shrunk the millipede down, and fired a fiery tripwire straight at it, dazing the mochis and securing the catch.
Got some Millie Mochi, baby.
This island is called Broken Tooth, by the way, and with that I'd caught 4 out of 11 Bugsnax here. I fed Floofty a Ched Orb and Millie Mochi, and the cantankerous scientist hoped to be able to study the effect of the spice on the 2 snacks somehow, but no luck. Chocolants were supposedly capable of maintaining their small size though, so they were my next target for Floofty's study. I fed Chandlo the Clawbsteroni, but he sadly did not spontaneously become huge. And for his follow-up quest, we took turns shooting, and it was first to 5 wins. And I won. What a random quest. I am a baller though, this is undeniable proof. I ventured out again and soon caught up with Triffany at another maze.
These are big fellas. Alright, so I gotta use the giant egg cracker to crack the giant egg.
But first I listened to Triffany complain about how everyone on the expedition sucks at working together. And I had a maze to do. This one had a rather delicious looking chocolant in it, and it rudely ejected my buggy ball, so I needed to get rid of the little fella. Fortunately, the tried and true lunch pad plus flying trap combo did the trick, and I never entered the ant. And then another simple maze with some uppy-downy pillars gained us entry into this ancient Grumpus communal area.
I just noticed there's a big fella up here. There's a spagida.
I shot Shrink Spice up at it, followed by a trap, and just like that I got me one of them spagidas. I headed into the ruins with Triffany, and tried throwing an urn at this fella whose outer shell was a rather robust takeaway container, before I realized some grappling was in order. I grappled one of the tabs off his side, and he skittered away in fear. He ended up down here by the egg cracker, where he got into a scuffle with this giant cheese ball before I hit him with another grapple, sending him on the run once more. As I rounded the corner, he was yet again mid-air, after a second run-in with the cheese ball. These two really don't like each other. I hit him with grapple number 3, and he was off again. Through the ruins and up this ramp to hang out with this celery monstrosity. I hit the final tab with the grapple, and suddenly the pie was nude to the air, and vulnerable to capture. I had to hike a Shrink Spice urn all the way up here, but I made it with time to spare and achieved a glorious double hit, shrinking the celery bug too. And apparently there are a bunch of chocolants chilling on the celery, and now they were loose and causing a ruckus. It was a little chaotic. After a few failed sprays of the tripwire, I managed to snag the pilobite. But as I was trying to do likewise with the celly sticks, it grew back into a big boy right before my eyes. I guess I missed my chance with that one. I left it alone for now and finally investigated this part of the ruins with Triffany. She confirmed it was the center of the ancient Grump society, where they slept and gathered. I also found this strange triangular key. I broke the way forward for Triffany, and suddenly we were outside the entrance of an ancient temple.
What the heck is this? Oh my gosh. Oh, I can just launch over this way now. That's useful.
I lured this silly lobster down the ramp with a cheesy buggy ball, and when he came near this abandoned trampoline, he of course could not resist picking it up, which was handy as it allowed me the opportunity to bounce myself up to this area where I was able to extend a bridge and create access to another shrine, and a more convenient source of Shrink Spice. I immediately made use of this to shrink down the celly stick so that I could trip it up.
Successfully caught some celery.
Back at base camp, I placed the chocolate I'd caught in this tub for Floofty, and...
At last, a viable sample. Now I can extract the powder and finally put this mystery to rest.
I left Floofty to study away before feeding Chandler his next plus-size meal, the pilobite and celly sticks I'd recently caught.
Yeah! You look beautiful, bro.
Chandler's next quest was to get advice about helping Snorpy with his paranoia and anxiety. And to sum it all up, Shoulder wisely said,
And you can do everything to support him, but you cannot fix him.
Floofty had obtained dried plant particles from the ant, but she couldn't properly examine them. I suggested we get some help from Shoulder, since she is a herbalist.
We do know an herbalist.
Not be serious. I would sooner eat my bow tie than listen to a word of Shelda's advice.
But the lure of the science was too great, and Floofty got talking with Shoulder despite their differences.
One senses the reek of a foul presence.
Well, it was off to a bad start, but they got there eventually, and Shoulder was able to determine that the spice consisted of natural remedies for inflammation, as well as some cheeky sulfuric acid. I bounced back over to the temple entrance, and it was a simple flame and trip shot situation to light up this torch and gain entry, revealing this rather enormous puzzle maze on the wall. It was certainly more elaborate than the mazes I'd encountered earlier. The first section was some up and down and side to side pillar movement to navigate, the next had some spinny things, and then it skipped over this middle section over to the right, which featured a chocolate ant, which I caught so that it wouldn't disturb my puzzle-solving efforts. This section was another simple up and down pillar affair, and the last two sections required a little timing on the spinny thingos in order to get onto the slidey pillars at the right time, but it was all done in short order. Down came the wall, revealing something rather disappointing.
So much for seeing the temple.
I suggested we ask everyone for help removing the debris, but she insisted she could take care of it on her own, so I left her to it. I managed to grapple this big egg into the egg cracker.
Oh, the Eggler flies.
The deviled Eggler began patrolling the skies in this area, and while I managed to shrink and even trip it out of the sky, the only way I could think of to douse its flames was to lure the frosty Millimochi over. But with only a 10-second window in which it was dazed on the ground, this seemed impossible.
How am I supposed to get this flying Eggler?
I kept trying for a while, but eventually gave up, and turned my sights to the Takata Masala that patrols the entire island. This was much simpler, as I simply waited for the big cicada, aka cicada, to swing by the pond in the middle of the island, where I trapped him and his flames were put out by the water.
There we go. At least we got the tikara masala. Just need the Eggler and whatever this is. Dude, how am I gonna get the Eggler?
I headed over to finally take on Shelder's quest, and my first task was to find an entrance into this section of the ruins. I discovered that up this ramp I'd come full circle. This was the big temple entrance approach from the other side of the island. I backtracked and got to work, and after a trampoline jump I found myself at the foot of yet another maze. I caught the chocolate, as I assumed it would once more be a nuisance to my puzzle solving efforts. But I soon realized this maze was impossible. How was I supposed to get higher? I put that on pause for now and turned my attention to trying to light these torches. torches, but there was no path possible to get a flaming tripwire over here from an already lit torch down below, so I was stumped. But when I saw this tikka masala flying by, I knew what I had to do. I shot some hot sauce on the torch, and the big fiery flyer couldn't resist. And in the process of slurping up the chili, the torch was lit. I was in turn able to light this torch, which opened the door to another shrine, which was actually pretty useless, so I was rather disappointed. After those distractions, I returned back down to where Shelter was, and bounced my way up here, where I grappled these rocks away, allowing Shelter to gain entry. These were indeed shrines of Mother Nature, and Shelter believed her god was very anti-Bugsnax, that they were toxins to be avoided, but...
Here, Mother Nature is the bringer of Bugsnax.
It's safe to say the very core of Shelter's beliefs were being challenged by the findings on Broken Tooth Island. I had another crack at the maze that had stumped me, and thankfully the ant had respawned, because unlike the other mazes, in this maze the little fella was helpful, carrying my buggy ball through the impassable section of the maze. And once it was completed, another big old egg was revealed. I grappled it over and pushed it down to the crater, where I had the egg cracker work its magic.
I have a feeling that Eggler's going to be easy to catch.
Yes indeed, this Eggler was patrolling above water, so after shooting some shrink spice at it, I was able to trip it down and capture it. Shelter needed time to meditate on the contradiction she was discovering about her faith, and in the meantime, she wanted me to crack 3 giant Eggler shells. I'd already cracked 2, so I had just the one left to do. It was being held by a spider, but after I shrunk the spider down, it dropped the giant egg, allowing me to grapple it to the center and get it cracked. With that task done, Shelter had centered her thoughts and decided she needed to figure out firsthand whether Bugsnax were from the mother or not. So she asked me to bring her a tikka masala. I had of course already caught one, so I placed it in her purity box immediately. For once, Shelter did not eat it. She actually wanted to study it in order to understand the very essence of Bugsnax. But she had no clue how to do that. And guess who does have a clue? That's right, Floofty. It was now Shelter's turn to ask Floofty for help. They bickered for a bit, but then found common ground in the love for science, you know the drill, and the 2 rivals were suddenly working together. Beautiful to see. I headed back to the temple to check in on Triffany's progress. She had not gotten anywhere. I once again suggested we get the team to help out, but she once again resisted that idea. She was convinced the expedition could never work together, so she simply gave up and headed back to camp. And with that, all 4 quest chains were concluded, so it was time for some more fireside chats. Chandler didn't grow physically, but he grew metaphorically. Shelter learned Bugsnax are indeed from Mother Nature, but nature be crazy, so Mother Nature making Bugsnax isn't actually that unexpected. Floofty learned the Bugsnax of this island were small by default, but something had inflamed them to largeness. And Triffany discovered that despite her doubts, the team were ready to work together, and they had a solution to clear the debris.
Alright, bro. Feast your eyes on the new and improved Big Buggy Ball!
You don't have to be a genius to figure out what the plan with this big old ball was. Finally, we gained entry to the temple, and there were somewhat disturbing murals of ritual grump sacrifice in here. Chandler found this thing, into which I placed the big strabby ball, launching it at the debris in the middle, and this was the beginning of some more chaos. The cheddar Bordle Rex threw the big buggy ball away, and 3 Cheddarbs dropped down to join the party. And so combat with one last legendary Bugsnax commenced. The big cheese platter was intent on throwing cheese orbs at me, so it was a matter of luring him to throw them onto the catapult thingos, allowing me the opportunity to shoot the orbs right back at him, cracking the glass lid. Once I'd achieved 3 hits to the glass lid, some walls came down, and the orb launching became a little more extravagant. After doing that twice, there was yet another phase to the battle, as Big Sprout the buggy ball returned to the fray, and a plus-size maze appeared. I enticed the boss to chuck Sprout at me, and this got the Strabby into the maze.
Gotta do a Strabby maze mid-boss fight. My favorite. Good thing he does no damage. It's literally no consequence for getting hit over and over again.
The maze was nothing special, so I had the big buggy ball in position quickly.
This is the final blow.
I threw some shrink spice at the big dingus, and rolled in with a big Sprout to bulldoze the shrunken cheese critter. And after that glorious combat, I was finally able to net the legendary snack.
We got the cheddar Bordle Rex.
I fed it to Chandler, and gave the silly goose a cheese head. And the crew surmised that while the cheese board was a fearsome beast, something much larger and more sinister must have caused the cataclysms of the past. But they couldn't guess what that might have been. And they were keen to leave, so leave we did. And just like that, I was finished with Broken Tooth Island.
Complete the adventure of Broken Tooth. 2 more achievements to go.
When I returned home, I had some mail with rewards for collecting 100% of the Bugsnax.
Official Bugsnax completion to Buddy. Is my name Buddy? Since when's my name Buddy? And we gotta put the golden Strabby here for sure.
I also received this hideous eyeball nonsense.
You can put the eyes on the outside. That's terrifying.
I think I've literally been doing side quests and then the entire DLC island for like 5 hours or something. I need to find out what happened to Lisbeth. Is Lisbeth really dead? What's the deal with the snack squatch? What the heck's going on? And so it was finally time to get on with the main quest, which was a major celebration now that all 12 grumps had returned to Snacksburg. And the first task of the party was to get everyone dancing. That is not exactly what I was expecting, but who can argue with a little movin' and groovin'? Each grump needed various things to get them dancing. For example, Shelter just needed me to break this orb of confetti, and others wanted a cheeky beverage to loosen them up onto the dance floor. But soon enough, everyone was whipping out their finest moves. But things soon took a turn for the chaotic.
Our end is nigh. What? End? Well, is that a metaphor or?
Uh-oh.
Gotta move! Now!
Wiggle blamed the Queen of Bugsnax, Snorpy blamed the Grumpinati, and Wambus blamed the volcano erupting. But everyone agreed this was bad news. Just then, Eggabell appeared and claimed she had figured out how to get to Liz. The rest of the grumps devised a plan to set up defenses to protect what was left of the town from whatever was coming, while Eggabell, Filbo, and I returned to the mountain. Apparently Liz had gotten the code to open the door backwards, so we reversed the order and the way into the mountain was opened. Oh dear. Filling the hole. The Undersnacks. What the heck? It's like D&D, the Underdark, but the Undersnacks, and it is very snacky. I made my way forward, wading through this delicious juice. Oh, that was the snack squatch for sure.
Ah, what is this thing? Help!
I jumped down this hole and came face to face with the handsome beast, who sunk into the floor somehow.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
I'd found Filbo, but where was Eggabell? And it's safe to say that things were now weirder than ever before, but as we navigated our way through the creepy tunnels, things got even weirder.
Let them through.
What the heck? Oh my lord. As far as things to behold go, what I was now beholding was rather outrageous. There's a whole gallery of snacks watching me. What is this?
Oh, Lisbert! It's you! You're alive!
Bilbo, you're here.
I can't believe it. We've got so much catching up to do.
I wish I could, but we're out of time. You have to get out of here.
What the heck happened to her?
You have to gather up the others and get off the island.
Oh, okay, then we can talk on the way back.
No, Bilbo. I can't go with you like this. I'm so sorry.
I decided it was a good time to hold Lisbert to account for the shenanigans on this island. You have a lot to answer for.
Are you seriously trying to interview me right now?
No time like the present, Lisbert.
Fine. Keep it quick.
What is this place?
This is the island's true form. It's Bugsnax all the way down. It's disgusting. Once you understand what Bugsnax really are.
What are they?
They're parasites. They get inside you and they change you. Your body and your mind. They make you want them. And before you know it, you become them. What you see here, this is what's left of everybody who came before us. Of every living thing that wasn't Bugsnax. They always win.
What happened to you?
After I saved Eggabell, I fell into this place. Before I knew what was happening, I was swarmed. Bugsnax were crawling down my throat.
Ooh.
They tried to erase me, to make me into them.
That's horrible.
I almost lost myself. But somehow I pushed back. I made them into me.
So Lisbert was controlling the snack squatch the whole time, trying to scare us all into leaving the island so that we would be safe. And the reason why we needed to leave...
They're so ravenous that they're shaking the ground apart. I'm the only thing keeping this island together right now. But it's like fighting a tsunami with a bucket.
So basically, the grumps thought they were the ones eating the Bugsnax, but really the Bugsnax were trying to consume all the grumps and make them a part of the island. Terrifying stuff.
I can't hold them back for much longer. Please, go and warn the others.
Filbo wondered what he would do without Lisbert, but Lisbert insisted he'd been doing just fine. In fact, she took all the blame for what had gone wrong.
I led you to this terrible island. I filled your bodies with parasites. I ignored all the warning signs. I should be the only one to suffer the consequences of my actions. Nobody else needs to get hurt because of me.
I heard that before. We're getting out of here together.
I can't. My control is already slipping. If I step outside this cave, my connection to the Bugsnax will break and the island will collapse before I make it another step.
Huh. All right, then I'll get in there with you. Move over.
Move over? It's not a car, Belle.
See? That wasn't so hard, right?
What? So now I'm supposed to leave both of you behind?
Hey, don't worry about us. We've been through worse than this, right?
It's time to get moving. Get back to Snacksburg.
Going to have to take a bit of a shortcut. Hold on.
We found ourselves in Flavor Falls, except a post-apocalyptic vibe had taken over.
The rivers run red, apparently. The Bugsnacky interior is emerging. Oh, the volcano is certainly erupting.
We ran through Garden Grove and soon we were back in town, where Snorpy was working away trying to repair the flying ship, while the rest of the Grumps fought back the hordes of ravenous Bugsnax. It was up to me to go and help them all. And lucky for me, I had some new toys Snorpy had cooked up at my disposal. First up, I defended Snorpy's position with a snack chop. It's like the snack trap, but it chops instead of traps.
Strabby puree, mate.
After holding back the horde of Strabbies, I headed down into the town to help the other nerds. First, Floofty and Shelder needed a hand.
Stay still, you pugnacious pests!
Floofty handed me this punchy contraption, and I punched up a storm. Donuts went flying, and these beverages suffered boxing glove death.
Punch the snackeries out of the sky.
After one more round of boxing, I moved on to help Chandlo and Snorpy, who had randomly abandoned repairing the ship to wander down here, I guess. To defeat these waves of Bugsnax, Snorpy outfitted me with a fancy tripwire gadget, and Chandlo heaved big poles for me to use as places to stick the tripwire. And we managed to stop a bunch of wall climbers, and after that, some flyers.
Bro, this town is in all sorts.
Next, I joined Beffica and Cromdo, shooting explosive barrels to keep these flying snacks from making it across the river. And then...
Runaway snacks never come back.
This was a fun time rolling around a razored-up buggy ball, slicing peel bugs and crapples as they attempted to get close enough to rip Gramble's face off. I managed to keep them at bay.
Come on now! Get your varmints!
For this battle, I made use of some special sauce, which had these bungers and spuddies flying all over the place. And with that, I'd rescued all of the town's grumps.
Goodbye, Schnacksburg. Goodbye, hellscape of bug death and destruction. That was the hidden achievement, I think. All of the Grumpuses survived. Complete the main story. I think this is it. Oh, there's a melon.
Never mind! We gotta get on board now!
The legendaries are coming out to try and stop us.
We're not gonna make it!
What?
Thanks, Liz.
Goodbye.
Egg.
See you, nerds. Thank you for your sacrifice.
Next thing I knew, we were safely on the mainland.
Here we go. On 100%. We did it. There's the disaster of Snacktooth Island. The island that was indeed a giant snack. Here's all the nerds that escaped. The beach of nerds.
And that was it, my friends. We Grumps were saved by the sacrifice of Lizbert and Eggabell. And I guess everyone came home with some lessons learned and lived happily ever after. Maybe. Hopefully. Also, my boss Crumb's Cucumber Slumber was very impressed with my journalistic efforts. But that didn't change the fact that she had some bad news for me.
You're fired. Also, you're legally dead. Might want to clear that up soon.
Bugsnax!